A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
For a wash that's deep clean, sparkling clean, use deep cleaning Oxidol. Oxidol is deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Oxidol's own Ma Perkins. Hold on, lady. Before you put away your freshly laundered clothes today, let me ask you a question. Are your clothes actually as clean and white and bright as you'd like them? Well, if not, I promise you a wonderful surprise when you try Deep Cleaning Oxidol. Deep Cleaning Oxidol reaches deep down into fabrics and washes out the gray dirt left in by the leading wash day suds, the leading shortcut suds. Now, this is a fact that's been demonstrated to women, and I'd like you to hear from Mrs. Eugene Westendorf of St. Bernard, Ohio, who saw this demonstration. Listen.
In this washing demonstration, they used my clean clothes. At least I thought they were clean because I had just washed them with the leading suds the way you're told to. Then they washed those clothes over again, this time with Deep Cleaning Oxidol. You should have seen the dirty wash water come out of those clothes I thought were clean. That dirty wash water showed me that Oxidol really can get out the gray dirt left in clothes by those leading shortcut suds.
Thanks, Mrs. Westendorf. And ladies, I predict you'll get a surprise, too, when you use Deep Cleaning Oxidol. See for yourself how much dirt Oxidol can get out of your clothes. And for the biggest surprise, look at the clothes themselves. When you use Deep Cleaning Oxidol, your clothes look white and bright. Clothes feel soft and fluffy. Clothes smell sweet, too. Yes, clothes look clean, feel clean, smell clean, because they are clean with Deep Cleaning Oxidol. Yet, Oxidol is truly safe. Deep clean clothes stay brighter, new-looking longer. So don't wash clothes with suds that leave dirt in. Get clothes deep clean. Sparkling clean with Deep Cleaning Oxidol. Oxidol is deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Ask your dealer for Oxidol today. And now, for Ma Perkins. Well, for months now, only one person has understood the deceitful character of the cousin, old Shuffle. But Shuffle hasn't had any proof, except, well, has Shuffle gotten some proof now at last that the cousins are crooked? And will Ma and Fay believe it? Now, when we left the folks on Friday, Shuffle had just appeared at the lumberyard to announce, but let's turn the clock back and hear Shuffle's announcement again. It's still the middle of the morning, and there in the lumberyard office we find Ma and Cousin Ed and, of course, Shuffle. Listen.
And so Cousin Sylvester ain't here at the moment. My, too bad. I don't want old Cousin Sylvester to miss out on the big news.
Big news, Shuffle?
What kind of big news? Now, we're busy, Shuffle. And me and Cousin Moore here, we're running the big business here. We ain't got time to listen to you and to your foolish talk and your...
Watch your step, Cousin Ed. Because as soon as I tell you my news, you'll be yowling for mercy. Ma, did you ever hear tell of a fella, friend of the good old cousin, supposed to be the big executive behind the mining company Willie bought that stock from, fella by the name of Mitch Myers?
Mitch Myers?
Due to my connections with the police authorities, I herewith come up with the following facts. The Little Giant Mining Corporation ain't got no Mitch Myers connected with it.
What?
There's such a mining corporation, all right. But the only Mitch Myers I ever heard tell of was the fellow who once upon a time done their printing for 'em. Only they ain't seen hide or hair of them for 6 months. Nice day today, ain't it, Cousin Ed? Of course, over there where you're sitting, it's all rain and gloom, huh, Cousin Ed? But over here where I am, it sure is a lovely day.
I don't know what you're talking about. Do you understand what he's talking about, Cousin Moore? All this business about Mitch Myers and all that stuff? You'll be funny, Shuffle. You weren't so ridiculous.
Keep right on talking, Cousin Ed. Every word just serves to convict. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, Ma? Well, you know what I'm talking about.
You say that there ain't no officer of this mining corporation whose name is Myers?
I'll give it to you from the beginning, Ma. Like you know, my little girlfriend, Marietta's got a boyfriend, policeman, Dan Wiggins. Passed his test for the state police, too. Fine boy. So a couple of days ago, I went up to
there
him
you
and
be, Cousin Ma. Marietta. Birds of a feather, Cousin Ma. Him and Marietta in their crooked cobs. Listen to the evidence of your own eyes, Cousin Ma.
What do you mean, crooked cop? And from one who's such a crook himself, he casts a shadow like a pretzel. Named Cousin Ed Hammaker. Him and his crooked son, Sylvester T. Hammaker.
Who do you think you are, coming into our place of business here and shooting off your big fat horse's mouth?
Stop it this minute. You heard what I said, Cousin Ed. Both of you, stop it. Some things that they're better discussed private, Cecil. Maybe this is one of them things. You should have come to the house. Anyhow, you don't get no place yelling at each other and carrying on.
Begging your pardon, Ma, I ain't got nothing to hide in private. Everything I got to say is Cousin Ed I want to say to his face, not behind his back. Oh, ain't you even going to hear me out, what I found out?
Oh, Cecil.
Ma, are you just going to keep on letting yourself get hornswoggled and swindled and cheated till you're lucky if you still got your teeth? Associating with these here crooked criminal cousins, I got proof, Ma.
Cousin Ed, I don't even like asking you if you'll listen to what Cecil got to say. Like we're all agreed this ain't pleasant for none of us. But once and for all, I feel that Cecil and me's got to settle this. Will you let Cecil speak?
Cecil can speak until he's blue in the face, Cousin Ma. Till he's even more red in the face than he is this minute. Until he's red, white, and blue in the face. Ain't nothing to me. But I don't have to let myself get insulted. I'll just pick up my gloves and
Scared, eh? Let it out, eh? Look at him run, Ma.
I am not running.
Maybe it might be best for you to stay and listen, Cousin Ed. Then at least you'll know what Cecil tells you.
Okay, Cousin Ma. For your sake, Cousin Ma. I'll stand by your side while this crazy old man insults your own cousins, Cousin Ma. Go ahead, you crazy old man. Us cousins stick together. Would you like me to get you a drink of water, Cousin Ma?
Stop patting Ma Perkins' hand, you squidgy little hypocrite. If Ma Perkins needs a glass of water, I'll go and get it for her. Now, you've been stalled long enough. I'll say what I got to say. 1, 2, 3. And then it'll be you who needs a glass of water, or maybe even a lake of water for drowning yourself.
Sticks and stones can hurt my bones, but words are just hot air.
Well, listen. 1. These here cousins have been hollering about a friend of theirs named Mitch Myers. Big shot in the mining business. Got a mining company called the Little Giant. It's this here so-called Mitch Myers who's been the one who sold Willie the stock in the Little Giant, and then bought it back from Willie, according to these here cousins.
Next you'll be saying that we ain't even cousins. This is too ridiculous. Look, I'm laughing at you, Shuffle. That's why you're so ridiculous.
Let Cecil finish, Cousin Ed.
Thank you, Cousin Ma. Oh, carnation, they got me cousining now. I meant to say thank you, Ma. So, point 1. Everything these here cousins have been saying, it's got them 2 words right in the middle of it. Mitch Myers, Mitch Myers. Now we come to point 2, namely, me, I never believed in no Mitch Myers. Like I said and said and said, yes, till I was red, white, and blue in the face. The whole thing was a swindle from beginning to end. It's Sylvester himself who sold that there stock to Willie and Evie. It was Sylvester himself who had to buy back that stock. When you, Ma Perkins, plus Little Face, when the 2 of you started insisting that Willie and Evie should get their money back. And like I've hollered over and over, it was only from wrecking his car that Sylvester could get the money to pay back Willie and Evie. Because he bought the car with the money he swiped from them.
A nice day if it don't rain.
So now we come to point 3. I get from a pal, Officer Wiggins, on the Middleborough Police Department to do some checking up with this Little Giant Mining Corporation. Officer Wiggins wires the Secretary of State of the great and sovereign state of Wyoming. Is there any such corporation on their list? Yep, he gets the reply back real snappy. Such and such is where they are. Another wire. Officer Wiggins to the Little Giant Corporation. Is there any Mitch Myers connected with them? Heh, heh, heh. They say no, there ain't. The only Mitch Myers they ever heard of was their printer. And they ain't done business with him for 6 months. So now who's making the heh, heh, heh now? Cousin Ed Hammaker?
Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every feller's life when We gotta rise above the sticks and stones which might break his bones. Because words ain't no better than the paper they're written on. Cousin Ma, if in spite of the evidence of your own eyes, you're still going to believe this here shovel person, who's been down on me and my family from the minute we set foot in this town, I can't even find the words. Sometimes no defense is better than the best defense. Especially when a feller don't want to soil his hands. Defense rests. Couple of us cousins, Ma. Poor Pa Perkins' cousins. Choose.
But have you got any explanation for what Shuffle says, Cousin? Oh, he's a customer then.
Well, hi, folks. Hello, Shuffle.
Willie.
Yeah, it's me. Oh, gee, Shuffle, this is certainly an occasion, seeing you back here in the lumberyard. Hey, and with Cousin Ed here, too. Well, don't tell me you two guys have buried the hatchet. I just happened to be passing on my way to Fort William, Ma, and so I thought I'd stop by and ask you...
Willie, excuse me. Willie, that stock certificate that Cousin Sylvester gave you when you bought the stock, where is it? Have you still got it, or did you give it back to Sylvester?
The stock certificate?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Sylvester needs it back, don't he? No, it's at the bank. I keep forgetting to pick it up. Sylvester wants it, huh? Okay, I'll go and get it.
Willie, do you mind if we go with you to the bank while you get it? Or anyhow, me, right now?
Huh? Well, no, I don't mind. You, Ma? Why?
Why do you want to see it, Ma? What's on your mind?
Now, why should you want to bother with an old, tired-out stock certificate, Cousin Ma?
If I remember correct, there's a certain signature on that stock certificate. Name of Myers. But Shuffle says there ain't anybody in that company named Myers. Come, Willie. We'll go right now.
Ladies, if you want your clothes so dazzling clean you not only see they're clean, but actually feel they're clean and smell they're clean, you want deep cleaning Oxidol. For deep cleaning Oxidol washes out the grimy, dirty clothes and gets your clothes sparkling clean. When you wash clothes with Oxidol, you can see they're sparkling white and bright. You can feel your clothes are soft and fluffy. You can smell they're sweet, too. Yes, clothes look clean, feel clean, smell clean because they are clean with deep cleaning Oxidol. So for a wash that's deep clean, sparkling clean, get deep cleaning Oxidol at your dealers now in the same familiar Oxidol package. And are the folks on the right track at last, or will the cousins squirm out of this one, too? Well, tomorrow, an apparition appears. A person whose very existence Shuffle denies. Yes, tomorrow we meet Mr. Nick Myers. But now this is Charlie Warren inviting you to listen again tomorrow, same time, same station, to Oxidol's own Ma Perkins, presented by the Procter & Gamble Company. For a wash that's deep clean, sparkling clean, use deep cleaning Oxidol.
Oxidol is deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Deep cleaning.
Pepsi-Cola, P-E-P-S-I. That's your smartest cola buy. Pepsi-Cola presents Counterspy.
Washington calling David Harding, Counterspy. Washington calling David Harding, Counterspy.
Harding, Counterspy, calling Washington.
United States Counterspy, especially appointed to investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad.
Tonight, the case of the photograph Furrier. Another Counterspy report to the American people. Brought to you each Tuesday and Thursday by Pepsi-Cola.
Pepsi-Cola, hits the spot. 2 full glasses, that's a lot. Lot more value, lot more zest. Why take less when Pepsi's best?
Yes, Pepsi's best. Because Pepsi, and only Pepsi, gives you more bounce to the ounce, more real value and quick food energy, ounce for ounce, than any other leading cola drink. That's right. No other leading cola can say that, but Pepsi-Cola. Proven highest quality and homogenized for finer, smoother flavor. More bounce to the ounce. That's Pepsi. Now, everybody, listen later in this program for a sensational special offer from Pepsi-Cola. Meanwhile, remember, get more bounce to the ounce. Get delicious, ice-cold Pepsi-Cola. And now, to Counterspy. 2 a.m. A low-hanging haze clings to the surface of New York's East River. All is quiet, except for the lapping of the water against the dock, and the occasional wail of a tugboat whistle in the distance. Suddenly, the thick silence is broken by the low purr of a motorboat engine.
You see the pier number yet, Joe?
Not yet, Bugs. Keep her turning over.
Right.
That looks like the right pier, Bugs. There's a ladder at the motor. Stay with the tiller. We got enough speed to drift into position.
Okay.
That's it. Hold her steady, Bugs, against the dock.
Right, Joe. Should I tie up?
I'll climb up the ladder first. Make sure it's the right pier. This is it, Bugs. Tie up and come up.
Right away.
There they are. Imported furs, bales of them waiting to be moved, just like Lloyd said.
He sure gets the straight dope.
Yeah. Let's get them over to the edge of the pier, and we'll lower them into the boat.
Right, I'll pick up.
The watchman. Come on, Bugs, behind this bale of furs with me.
Yeah. Drink with him, Joe.
Now, let him lay. We'll keep an eye on him.
I'll give him one more with my foot to make sure he sleeps solid.
That's enough, Bugs. Let's get to work. There's $60,000 worth of furs on this dock, and Lloyd don't want us to miss a dime's worth.
That lead on the Barnard Fur Finishing Company. Good. Looks it. They finish the furs for a very smart New York fur salon. Lloyd's at Park Avenue. And the samples we bought there check with the laboratory reports on the stolen furs.
You got a tail on Lloyd?
We can pick him up now if we want to.
No, Peters. We've got to make a thorough cleanup in this case. The crooks, the sellers, and the buyers.
A lot of money involved, Dave?
Well, not only the money, Peters, our trade relations with friendly countries. These robberies are leading to ill feeling and international lawsuits. That's why I want to wash this up once and for all, so there'll be no hangover.
I see.
And we'll stake out this Bonner Company. Get photographs of everyone who does business with them. We'll have agents with our new miniature cameras cover the place like a blanket.
The company's building is located in the suburbs of New York City. You want to look it over yourself and plan the stakeout?
Yes. We've got to get photographs that'll convict everyone who does business with the Bonner Company, as well as the fancy Mr. Lloyd himself.
Good morning, Adele. Joseph's expecting me.
We both are. He's in the private office.
But let's go in.
Joe, he's here.
Huh? Oh. Hello, Mr. Lloyd.
Hello, Joseph.
It's the newest fad up on Park Avenue these days, sporting a cane.
Does it annoy you?
Yeah, makes me happy. Did you get rid of the furs from that pier job?
Naturally.
For how much?
$60,000?
That's full market value.
Of course, Adele. Lloyd's of Park Avenue never cuts prices.
Work it over, Mr. Lloyd.
I intend to. $20,000, the usual 1/3.
Not any longer, Mr. Lloyd.
What?
Adele and I have been figuring the divvy ain't right.
Oh?
We do the dirty work, heist the furs, and process them in this stinking building out here in Queens.
So?
You just sit in that fancy Park Avenue saloon of yours, peddling them to beat up biddies. Air-conditioned, no less.
What do you want, Joseph? Air conditioning?
No, 2/3.
Very funny. Now, if you'll step aside, I have to fit a patron at my salon. I don't want to be late.
You don't leave until we settle this, Mr. Lloyd.
There's nothing to settle. Step aside, Joseph.
No.
Keep your hands off me.
Easy, Half-Pint.
Let go.
Get down in the chair. That's better.
Joseph, you'll regret this.
Maybe you'll regret it more. Now, I wouldn't want to muss up that pretty face of yours. 2/3 for us, and we're all friends again. And stop shoving that cane in my face.
Look at it more closely, Joseph. Notice the opening in the end?
What?
Joe, it's a gun.
Bright girl, Adele. This cane is really a disguised gun.
Lloyd.
Not 3 inches from your throat, Joseph.
Take it away, Mr. Lloyd.
Back up, Joseph. That's the way. Against the wall. Now, the push on this little button at the handle would make you a very bloody spectacle, Joseph. Easy, Adele. I don't want my hand to slip.
Please, Lloyd, take it away.
I will, Joseph. When you get this cleared. This is my operation. I finance it. I tip you off when furs are due in. I sell them once they're stolen. You're merely my workhorse.
Sure, Mr. Lloyd, sure.
You remember that?
Yeah, only take that thing away from my throat.
Very well. One mistake is permitted, Joseph. I'll take it away this time, particularly since I'll have work for you to do shortly.
Okay, Mr. Lloyd, you're the boss. Same setup, same split.
Bright boy, Joseph. Don't change your mind, because the next time you see the end of this cane, a bullet will be spitting out of it.
Looks bad, Dave. The Bonner Company is the only building within 4 square blocks of these vacant lots. A flea couldn't be inconspicuous out here.
Just across from the Bonner building. That newsstand right by the subway entrance.
Think we can use it?
Pull up to the stand. I'll buy a paper.
Right.
All right, morning papers. Get some paper here.
Son.
All right with you, mister. What'll it be, mister?
Times in the Tribune.
Sure thing.
Dave, maybe we could set an agent to take over this stand.
It might make these fur thieves suspicious.
Chance.
Here you are, mister. Time contributed.
Thanks. Keep the change.
Thanks.
That's a nice spot you got here. End of a subway line, end of a bus line, no competition. You been in this spot for long?
3 years.
Well, been in business a long time, huh? What's your name?
Eddie Sloan.
Well, good luck, Eddie. Maybe I'll be seeing you again.
Sure. I'm always here, mister. So long.
So long.
What do you read?
Let's go, Peter.
What are you thinking about, Dave? Using the kid?
Yes. From his stand, he could snap anyone who walked in or out of that building.
Looks like our best bet. He could operate the new camera all right. It's simple enough.
That's the way I feel. Find out where he lives, his family, all about him. Then bring him in the office tomorrow. If he's as bright and as able as he seems, we'll add a slightly underage counterspy to our staff.
Bonner Fur Company.
Joseph, this is Lloyd.
Oh, yes, Mr. Lloyd.
A little information.
More furs coming in?
Yes. The Bay Trading Company has a carload of furs on the way. Shipped by train across country from Seattle. They're due to arrive at the East Shore Freight Yards tonight. They won't be unloaded until morning.
Officially, that is.
Quite right, Joseph. They'll be in a refrigerated Yukon Pacific boxcar. Number 6220.
6220. Got it.
Good. I'll leave it to you to make the usual arrangements.
Eddie, this is Mr. Harding.
David Harding?
That's right, Eddie.
Oh, then, Mr. Peters, you weren't conning me and my uncle. You really are counterspies.
I wasn't conning you, Eddie.
Gosh.
Sit down, Eddie.
Well, yeah, sure.
Peters, have you told Eddie and his uncle what we wanted him for?
Just a little. Eddie's uncle says the decision is up to Eddie, as long as it's safe.
That's fair enough. Eddie, what do you know about the counterspy?
Gosh, everything.
Everything?
I mean, everything that's been on the radio or in the papers. I follow every case you're on.
Oh, that's flattering.
Very.
Oh, that last case with the hijackers and those cameras. I followed it all.
Well, I'm glad you did, Eddie. Would you like to see the new cameras we use?
You bet.
Peters, there's some cameras and packages of film in that cabinet.
Right away. Hey, ready? Take a look at it.
Boy, it's keen. You could take pictures without hardly anybody knowing you were taking them.
Well, that's just what it was designed for, Eddie. In fact, that's what we'd like you to do.
Me?
Yes, Eddie.
Gosh, me helping the counterspies. What do you want me to do, Mr.
Well, not so fast, Eddie. I want to make sure you understand this might be a little dangerous.
I ain't afraid.
Well, you should be, Eddie. It's always good to be afraid. Then you'll be careful.
Oh.
Now that we've slowed down, we'll go into the details. Now, first the camera. Go ahead and pick it up, Eddie.
It's a beauty.
Mm-hmm. And simple to operate.
You see, Eddie, it's precision designed, made to be foolproof. Because lots of times we have to use that camera under very difficult circumstances.
I see, sir.
Now, what we want you to do, Eddie, is take pictures of everyone who goes into that building opposite your newsstand.
The fur company.
That's right, Eddie. The Bonner building.
Crooks, huh?
Well, that's what we hope to prove by your pictures, Eddie.
They're fur thieves, Eddie. And the men going in will be going there to buy stolen goods.
And we want to catch the buyers as well as the actual crooks.
I'll do whatever you say, Mr. Harding.
Good boy. Now, you won't be entirely alone.
No?
Well, I've arranged to replace the agent in the subway station change booth with one of our counterspies. From time to time, he'll come up to see whether everything's all right.
I can take care of myself.
Oh, I'm sure you can, Eddie, but we'll just play it safe. Now, you'll have to conceal the camera so it won't be obvious to anyone that you're taking pictures.
Oh, I could cover it with a newspaper.
Well, the newspaper could blow away or the camera might slip out.
That's right.
Well, how about my change box? I use a wooden box. I could get another one, cut a hole in it, and sight it through the hole.
Well, that sounds like a better idea.
And I'll take good care of the camera. I won't drop it or nothing.
Well, don't worry about that. It's very strongly built. Well, now, Eddie, when you've taken all the films on the roll, you'll remove the roll. Mr. Peters or I will come along at the end of the day, and we'll buy a newspaper. Include the rolls with the paper.
I start right away, Mr. Hardy?
Right away, Eddie.
Here's your camera, Eddie.
Gee, thanks.
And plenty of film. Now, Eddie, if you get the right pictures with this new Counterspy camera, you'll be going a long way toward helping us solve this case. In fact, everything depends on you.
Now, everybody listen for the amazing Pepsi-Cola offer mentioned earlier in this program. For a few days only, you can actually get a genuine, instant-action Counterspy candid type camera. Yes, a real super-speed snapshot camera that takes wonderful, clear, sharp black and white pictures. Now yours for only 50 cents and one bottle top from Pepsi-Cola. Did you ever hear anything so amazing? And you'll be even more amazed when I tell you all the high-quality features usually found on expensive imported cameras. Genuine Plano convex double-element lens. Genuine beauty finish photographic black plastic case. 16 pictures, not just 8, on every reel of film. And mind you, that's standard size film that you can get at your nearby camera store. Takes pictures 1 1/4 inches by 1 5/8 inches. So clear, you can actually have them enlarged. Instant eye-level viewfinder that shows exactly the picture you're taking. Instantaneous 1/25th of a second speed shutter. Fixed, sure focus that needs no adjustment. Just the thing to take to the beach with a carton of Pepsi-Cola. In fact, this is such a wonderful camera, it's guaranteed for 1 year against mechanical defects. It's selling in stores right now for much more, but listen, here's all you do. Send only 50 cents in coin with your name and address and only one Pepsi-Cola bottle top to Counterspy Headquarters, Box 12, New York 8, New York. Now, please print your name and address clearly, and be sure to enclose 50 cents. Your Counterspy Candid-style camera will be sent post-paid, but don't delay. This offer must be limited. Send for your camera now. Remember, I'll repeat that address later. And now, back to Counterspy.
There's the entrance, Joe, the East Shore Freight Yards.
Drive right in, Bucks.
Yeah, but there's a watchman on duty. I cased.
I know, just drive right in.
All right. Hey, you in the car? The watchman.
I heard. Stop for him.
What?
Stop.
Now, just where do you fellas think you're going?
You the yard watchman?
That's right.
You're the guy I want to see. I'm from Bay Trading Company. Here's my loading bill.
So?
We're working overtime. Supposed to pick up a load of furs from refrigerator car 6220. You know where it is?
Sure. It's right down the yard a bit. I'll hop on the running board and direct you.
Thanks.
All right, just go straight ahead. I'll tell you when to turn. Turn right across the tracks ahead. All right, there she is. 6220. You can back right up to the doors.
Thanks, Pop.
It's a sealed car, you know.
We'll get it open all right, Pop. Like this. All right, come on, Bugs. Roll him over in the shadow. I'll break the seal and we'll start unloading.
Oh, you got nerve, Joe, just walking right in.
It's the only way to pull a job. Make them think it's legitimate, and you'll even get the mayor to help load the truck. Anybody else shows up, we're just working overtime. Catch?
Catch.
Now, let's get started. We got a lot of overtime to put in. $100,000 worth.
Dave. Enlargement for the pictures Eddie took yesterday. Those cameras do a wonderful job.
Yes, Peters. And Eddie's no expert. But still, these photographs show every detail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anybody can work these cameras.
There are 32 photographs. We've identified 24 of the men as supposedly legitimate fur dealers.
Well, we'll investigate and put agents on them. Tell the agents to stand by for a pickup order.
Right, Chief.
A couple of more days of Eddie's camera work, and we'll be ready to round up everyone who's had dealings with this mob.
Give me a news, kid.
Oh, sure, mister. Here.
$50. I'll take change from the...
No, don't.
I'm sorry, kid. I thought that was your change box. It's a nice camera.
Yeah. My hobby. Here you are, mister. 47 cents.
Thanks. So long, kid.
Another guy. Got it. Now this guy.
You take a lot of pictures, kid.
Huh?
I've been watching you for the past 10 minutes. What's the idea?
What do you mean?
Taking pictures of everyone who goes into the fur company.
Who says I do?
Don't get wise, kid.
I told you this camera's my hobby.
Take it easy, kid, or I'll break it. Go on, get going. You got some talking to do.
No, Lloyd, this coat doesn't seem to do anything for my figure.
But Mrs. Vanderpool, why tamper with perfection? And that, in a word, is your figure.
Now, Lloyd.
I mean it. I could show you several other fur coats we have in the salon, but this coat is simply stunning. You set it off beautifully.
You really think so?
Mrs. Vanderpool, I know women. I know furs. I know beauty. At the moment, you are the highest form of all three.
It's so wonderful to deal with you, Lloyd. You understand me. The real me. Now, my husband doesn't...
Oh, pardon me, Mrs. Vanderpool. I'll return in a moment.
Of course.
Lloyd of Park Avenue speaking. Oh. What? I see you. All right. I'll be right over.
Now, Lloyd.
Mrs. Vanderpool, if you'll excuse me, one of the girls will take care of you.
Girls?
I'm so sorry. Urgent business.
Oh.
But I'll see you soon, perhaps for lunch sometime.
Oh, lunch. That would be splendid.
I'm sure it would. Till then, Mrs. Vanderpool, au revoir.
Harding speaking.
This is Saunders reporting from the subway booth, Mr. Harding.
Oh, yes, Saunders?
The newsboy's gone.
What?
Yes, Mr. Harding. I was delayed on my half-an-hour check. People want to change. It's been 45 minutes since I last saw the boy.
45 minutes. Saunders, I told you...
Mr. Harding...
Look, never mind. Stay there on duty. Peter, did you get that about Eddie Sloan?
Yes, Dad.
Alert the rating squad. We've got to move in on that fur company right away. Before, it was a question of chiseling crooks and tax evaders, but now it's a boy's life. I wouldn't risk that for all the crooks in creation. Get the squad moving, fast.
But you stay out here with Adele.
Okay.
The kid's in the next room, Mr. Lloyd.
All right, Joseph. And Bugs, don't think. Please don't ever think again.
Well, I thought you'd want to know. That's why I brought the kid over.
Please close your moronic mouth or I'll close it for you. Come on, Joseph.
Hey, what you got there, Pete? I got a newsstand to take care of.
This is the little beast, eh, Joseph?
Yeah.
Who are you?
I'll ask the questions. Why were you taking pictures of this establishment?
It's a hobby.
Don't be insolent, you little brat.
Can't talk to me like that.
I'll do much worse if you don't answer my questions promptly and truthfully.
I know what you're all excited about. Guy takes pictures and you'd think he was robbing a bank.
Any particular reason for that reference to robbery?
What?
Listen, you little devil. Obviously, someone put you up to taking pictures. I wish to know who.
I told you, it's my own hobby.
Joseph, grab that black shoulders.
Okay, Mr. Lloyd. Hey, cut it out.
Turn him over that chair. See if a little caning will loosen his tongue.
Let me go.
All right, you little beast. You ready to tell me who put you up to this?
I wouldn't tell you the time of day.
Very well. Joseph will...
No! Mr. Lloyd!
What's that? Adele, I don't...
All right, you two. Stand where you are.
Mr. Harding.
Harding. Counterspies. Now we know the answer.
Yes, Lloyd, we've been on your trail for a long time.
I got lots of pictures, Mr. Harding. About 20 guys went in this morning.
Good, Eddie. When we confront them with that evidence, I'm sure they'll all be willing to talk about their dealings with Mr. Lloyd.
I won't be here to listen, Mr. Harding.
What?
This cane pointing at the boy's throat is a concealed gun.
Well, you...
Now move, Mr. Harding, and I'll blow this urchin's dirty little throat apart. Joseph, relieve Mr. Harding of his gun.
Okay, Mr. Harding. Thanks.
Now, Mr. Harding, you'll do as I say, or I'll slaughter the brat with the greatest of pleasure. That's better.
Mr. Harding.
Silence, you little beast.
Now what, Lloyd?
Start walking. In front of me. That's right. Through that door.
Duck, Eddie. Let go of this cane. Watch it, Peter. I'll kill both of you. No, you don't, Joe. I'll take back. God, here, don't you?
Let go of my cane.
Not this time, Lloyd.
Close. Nice work, Peter. You got Lloyd.
Couldn't shoot before, Dave. They might have gotten Eddie. Stood by the door and grabbed the cane gun when he came out.
I'm one guy who's glad you did.
And so am I, Peter. Come on, Eddie, let's go. We'll take Joe and Adele along. And don't forget that camera, Eddie. Those pictures are going to help increase our prison population.
Now, everybody, act immediately. Send only 50 cents with your name and address clearly printed, and only one Pepsi-Cola bottle top for your genuine Counterspy Candid type camera, the same type David Harding used in the episode you just heard. Send to Counterspy Headquarters, Box 12, New York 8, New York. That's Box 12, New York 8, New York. And remember,
Pepsi-Cola hits the spot. 2 full glasses, that's a lot. Lot more value, lot more zest. Why take less when Pepsi's best?
tune in every Tuesday and Thursday, same time, same station, to Counterspy. Listen on Thursday for the exciting Counterspy case of the International Intrigue.
A case involving such elements as a hidden chateau in the mountains, an X-ray picture of special teeth, and a scientist who died and came to life. Your Counterspies will never forget this attempt on one of our most precious security secrets. Be sure to be listening Thursday, day after tomorrow, for
Case of the International Intrigue on Counterspy. Tonight's Counterspy program originated in New York, was directed by Leonard L. Bass, dramatized by Palmer Thompson, and featured Don McLaughlin and Mandel Kramer, with music by Jesse Crawford. Bob Shepard speaking. Counterspy is a Phillips H. Lord production for Pepsi-Cola. Enjoy some Pepsi ice cold tonight.
The partner from Mexico City, the stranger dead in Nevada, and the man with the cauliflower ear. All added up to a corpse on a concrete floor. But I couldn't figure why until I found out there was one name above all that had to be remembered.
From the pen of Raymond Chandler, outstanding author of crime fiction, comes his most famous character in The Adventures of Philip Marlowe. Now, with Gerald Moore, starred as Philip Marlowe, we bring you tonight's exciting story, The Name to Remember.
The big clock at the far end of the Beverly Room cocktail lounge with the opaque glass ice cubes where there should have been numbers said it was 20 after 5. That meant my new client, Eddie Millette, was late. So sitting at an uncomfortable mushroom for two, I waited and worked on a long drink and stared down into the mirrored top of my table. I stopped staring when the reflection in the tabletop changed from red ceiling to gray Hamburg and pale blue eyes in an almost friendly face. I looked up to find easygoing Eddie Millette looking about as he had been a year ago. Dapper in draped flannel, carnation attached, and a thin smile on thinner lips. He sat down, took off his hat, and shook hands all in one quick motion. And I knew he was either in trouble, a hurry, or both.
Marlowe, business.
Business.
You gotta find the nut who's been following me for the last couple of days. He's big. A lot of muscle under a T-shirt and a kind of jacket like the Dodgers wear when they're warming up, you know what I mean? I can't figure out what this bird's after. That bothers me. All the time he's like it.
What?
Hanging around.
Oh.
And if I go for him, he runs. So what I want you to do is, you get next to him and the answer to this tag. Here. 50, 70, 80, $100. Enough, Phil?
Enough. You know, Eddie, the law might do this for you for free.
Yeah, for John Doe, they might. But Eddie Millette's another story, Marlowe. You know what I mean? Today I got a respectable business, war surplus. But the cops, they only remember me as a guy who once did time for being careless with other people's dough.
Yeah.
Besides, I'm in a hurry. My two partners, Lou Tripp and Ruth Dunn. She's also my girl. They're coming back to town tonight. I'd like to spend some time with both of them, without interruption.
What do you mean, girl, Eddie? You and that pretty wife I've heard about split up?
Yeah, I'm suing for divorce right now. Tina and I never should have been, Marlowe. Yeah, I need someone who's softer, more honest and understanding, know what I mean? Now take this here, Ruth.
Can I help you, sir?
Huh? Oh, yeah, scotch. No buzz. Make it a double.
Very well, sir.
This Ruth Marlowe, she's different.
Uh-huh.
Good head for business, sweet kid at the same time. Like, for instance, the letter I got from her today. She and Lou were both in Mexico City. She's got all the dope on the deal we're working on, plus the fact she's worrying about me.
Now, that should bring us right back to T-shirt. Remember, where do I start, Eddie?
That's the only place I know of, Marlowe. Yesterday, I kind of turned the tables on this guy, trailed him down to the corner of Wilshire and Western. But he got away in the middle of a lot of traffic, you know what I mean?
In a car?
Huh?
Car.
Oh, no, we were both walking.
No.
Now, I figured from his bill and that T-shirt, he could work on one of these health clubs around here. You find out, then come to my place on Hoover before 8, huh? By the way, he's got black curly hair and one ear's all banged up, cauliflower like it. Right one. Anything else?
No, Eddie, I'll see you. Know what I mean?
Huh?
2 hours after I'd left Eddie Millette, I checked with a half a dozen hooray for health clubs in the neighborhood, smelled a lot of liniment, and came away with nothing more than distended nostrils. So at 7:30, I pointed my car toward 8400 North Hoover, in the hope that my client could give me something else to go on. The Millette home was well-groomed and sat sedately behind 50 rolling yards of carefully clipped hedge, and said the gardener must have gone to Barber's College. So when I leaned against the front doorbell, I expected Eddie in at least a silk lapel smoking jacket with slippers to match. But when the door swung open, I got a surprise, because I was greeted instead by a lot of white T-shirt, and in front of that and coming straight for my head was a fist the size of a muskmelon.
Oh! Okay, Private Detective hired by Eddie Millette in the Beverly Room. Gear up.
Go.
Don't so much as smile crooked or I'll twist your arm in two. What is it you want?
Oh, one thing, a chance to bust you in the nose.
What nerve.
Yeah?
Listen, stupid, if I had the time, I'd tie your arm into a square knot, then rip it off at the hinges and throw it away. But right now, I've got what I came for. I'm in a hurry, so you're real lucky.
How about Eddie Millette, Muscles? How lucky is he?
Very. He's inside, resting. Just like you're gonna be, Mister...
By the time I got back to my feet and had my right arm unscrewed to where I could reach across my chest and my shoulder holster, a T-shirt was gone. So I started into the house, and what I knew was going to be a slightly beat-up client. When I turned on the lights and found nothing in the kitchen, bathroom, or bedroom, I began to worry a little more. I got to the den and saw that the drawers of a desk that were turned inside out, but there was still no Eddie. I opened a side door and started out to the patio, which ran along the front of the house. But then, as the staccato report of high heels coming up the flagstone path that led to the front door, I stopped and waited. When the lady, who was a quiet face and quiet clothes, came to a halt in the open doorway, puzzled, and called Eddie's name out loud, I figured this had to be Ruth Dunn, girlfriend and partner out of Mexico City. So I walked back through the house to the living room.
Eddie, it's Ruth. Eddie Millette, are you playing a game with me? Why, who are you? What are you doing here?
I'm Philip Marlowe, Miss Dunn. I was hired by your boyfriend because he was worried about a bunch of muscles in a T-shirt with curly black hair, a cauliflower ear, and a brain you could drop through the hole in a lifesaver. Mean anything to you?
Well, no, it doesn't. But where's Eddie, Mr. Marlowe, and why is the front door open like this, and why are all the lights on?
In that order, I don't know where Eddie is. Front door's open because that's where T-shirt and I played Ben, the private detective, and all the lights are on because I was looking for Eddie.
But he's not here anyplace? The bedroom, the kitchen?
So far, no. Come on in here, see if this desk in the den adds for you, maybe. Drawers have been slightly rearranged by a very heavy hand. Incidentally, T-shirt was bragging about getting what he'd come for just as he collapsed me for the second time, so if you...
Oh, the letters. They're gone.
What letters?
The ones I wrote to Eddie while I was on the road. He always kept them here in the bottom drawer.
Were they business or pleasure?
Well, business mostly, but I did talk of other things, too.
Yeah, I know. Eddie mentioned that when he told me about you and Lou Tripp being due back tonight. Oh, by the way, where is Tripp?
Well, I don't know. He left me in Mexico City the day before yesterday and said he'd be here tonight at the latest. Oh, surely, Marlowe, you don't think that Lou had anything to do with this?
Could be. Letters are part business.
And part love. So I'd say that the only person who could possibly be behind this is Mrs. Millette.
Tina?
Yes. And for the oldest and best reason in the world, Marlowe. Jealousy. Tina'd do anything to make Eddie and me unhappy. She could twist the innocent wording of those letters so that any divorced judge would see things her way. She's cruel, Marlowe, and she... Marlowe. Under that door there that leads to the garage. It's blood, Marlowe.
Stay over there, Ruth.
Oh, Eddie. Eddie, are you... Oh, no. Oh, Marlowe, he's dead. Isn't he?
Yeah, honey. I'm afraid he is. Eddie Millette was dead. Real dead.
Oh, Eddie.
The right side of his head crushed in. And next to him and on the edge of the ugly pool of blood that had seeped under the door was the grease-coated tire iron that had done the job. I turned Ruth away, and it wasn't until we were back in the living room and she'd stopped sobbing long enough to take the double shot of brandy that I'd forced on her that I started for the telephone and the call of Detective Lieutenant Ibarra, homicide. But before I could pick up the receiver, it went off. Hello?
This is Lieutenant Ibarra at Police Headquarters.
Ibarra?
Huh?
How great can service be? This is Marlowe. I was just going to call you.
Did I dial your office number by mistake, Marlowe?
Oh, no mistake, Lieutenant. I'm at Eddie Millette's. I've been working for him since this afternoon. What's up? Why the call?
A dead man named Ellis Clay in a motel outside of Carson City, Nevada, Phil.
Yeah?
It looks like an accidental explosion in his room there, and the best the sheriff has for identification other than his name and the city, Los Angeles, is a blank sheet of letterhead paper from Eddie Millette's war surplus outfit. So I thought Millette might be able to help us out. Is he there?
Yeah. And dead, Ibarra.
Huh?
Murdered with a tire iron sometime in the last hour.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Any idea who did it?
A muscle man in a T-shirt, maybe. But at the moment, Ibarra, the motive seems to be a little mixed. Say, wait a minute. I may be able to help you on that Nevada guy. For Ruth. Ruth, do you know anything about a man named Clay in Carson City? He had Eddie's address on him when he was killed in an accident.
Clay?
Yeah.
In Nevada?
Mm-hmm.
No, Phil, no, I don't.
No. Hello, Ibarra.
Yes?
The girl here, who was one of Eddie's partners, never heard of him.
All right, but that's unimportant now. What I am interested in is Millette's death. What's the address out there? And why...
It's 8400 North Hoover.
North what?
Hoover, as in vacuum cleaner. But look, if it's all the same to you, Ibarra, I'd like to move, and I think if I do it fast enough, I've got an even chance of catching up with this T-shirt. Okay?
Well, all right, Marlowe, but don't forget, we've got a couple of thousand policemen here in L.A., just in case you can't...
Yeah. Goodbye, Ibarra. Ruth, honey, why don't you go over to your own place and try to take it easy, huh? When I talk to Ibarra again, I'll tell him where you can be found.
All right, Phil. But where are you going?
To the only place that adds now, Tina Millette's. You know where it is?
Yeah. The Cameo House on Rexford Drive in Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if it's any help, she drives a new cream-colored Nash. But Marlowe, be careful. Tina may be the one who hired that man in the T-shirt.
Yeah, I know. And that, honey, is exactly what I'm banking on. I'll call you. After I got the vital statistics on where I could reach Ruth later on, I piled into my car and headed for Beverly Hills in the Cameo House, which was 6 stories of white stone and glass brick. Tina Millette managed to sprint by with half of the top floor, and a couple of minutes later, when I got out of the all-mirror elevator, walked to her door, rang, and waited. I was wondering what kind of a reception I'd get. But when the door opened, I stopped wondering and started concentrating.
You want something?
In something the texture of spun smoke rings. It stood 5 feet 6 inches over the threshold and must have weighed in at close to 120. With every inch a thing of beauty. And every pound just in the right place.
I asked you if you wanted something. Do you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the name's Philip Marlowe, Mrs. Millette. I'm a private detective your husband hired this afternoon. Why don't you let me in like a good little girl, huh?
Because that's something I'm not. Now get out of here before I call the police.
Well, probably on their way up here right now.
Oh?
Your husband's dead, Mrs. Millette. He was murdered.
Eddie murdered?
Yeah. Now, do you still mind if I come in?
No, of course not. I don't know what to say.
Oh, that's a trite line.
What was that?
I said you're acting and doing a bum job of it.
Why, I ought to slap your face.
I'll call your boy with the muscles and have him go back to work on my arm for a while.
What are you talking about?
The lad in the white T-shirt who killed Eddie and then stole a bunch of letters that were going to help you lie your way through a countersuit for divorce. It would leave Eddie both broke and embarrassed.
You don't make sense, bright boy.
No?
First of all, I don't know who you're talking about. And second, if I were going to file such a countersuit, why would I want my husband killed first?
Maybe you didn't. We all make mistakes, Mrs. Millette.
Which is only one man's opinion. So why don't I just pick up my coat here and let the perfect gentleman escort me to the nearest police station?
All right, it's a date. I see you bowled quite a bit, Tina. Good enough to win that cup there from the Maplewood Alleys on Wilshire near Weston. Eddie figured a health club, and I went right along. Never thought about the bowling alley near there, and
Yes, Marlowe? You were saying something?
Yes, I was, but the little gun in your hand made me lose my place.
Marlowe, I don't believe that Eddie's dead. Nor do I believe that you work for him at all. For my money, you're just a not-so-smart boy who was hired by that hussy Ruth Dunn. She's going to need an army of private detectives before I get through, and I mean that. Now back up through those doors and get out onto the fire escape.
While you do what?
Well, I find out exactly what's going on. Now get out there. It's 6 long floors to the ground, Marlowe. And I hope with the first step you take that you trip, fall all the way, and break your neck. Goodbye, private detective.
In just a moment, we will return to the second act of The Adventures of Philip Marlowe. But first, just a little later on CBS tonight, you'll hear Sing It Again's Master of Ceremonies, Dan Seymour, giving a perfect characterization of a man going crazy. The reason? Well, Dan's got the biggest, hottest news in the history of quiz shows ready for announcement right after someone knocks off tonight's $20,500 Phantom Voice mystery. So be sure to hear Sing It Again tonight when it comes to you at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on most of these same CBS stations. And now with our star, Gerald Moore, we return to the second act of Philip Marlowe and tonight's story, The Name to Remember.
When Tina Millette prodded me out onto the fire escape through a pair of French doors, slammed them shut, and snapped the lock, there was a cold look in her smoky eyes and an unwavering potential about the snub-nosed gun clenched in her hand and pointed straight at my belt buckle that melted all the gambler out of me fast. So I watched quietly as she backed across the room to the hall door and out. I knew my chances of climbing down 6 flights of iron fire escape in time to head her off was an idiot's dream. So, kicked the panel out of one of the doors, reached through and finally got it unlocked. And I went back inside to the phone. Since the vixen was on the prowl with a gun in her fist, I figured the least I could do was pass the word along.
Hello?
Ruth, this is Marlowe.
Oh, Phil. Have you found the letters?
Not yet, but never mind that now. You got something more important to worry about because your guess on Eddie's ex-wife, Tina, was right on the button.
You mean one who's really after the letters?
Yeah, that muscle man in the T-shirt is just doing a heavy work for her. And I've got a good idea that he's connected with the Maplewood bowling alley on Wilshire.
Where are you now, Phil?
In Tina's apartment, alone. I just lost a small debate with her. And get this, Ruth. She hates you, and she's the type who hates hard. Yeah. When she left here, she had a gun, and the chances are at least 50-50 that she's coming your way. So keep your doors locked and stay away from windows, savvy?
Yeah, okay, Phil.
Oh, one more thing before I shove off. Has Millette's partner, Lou Tripp, shown yet?
No. At least he hasn't called me.
Uh-huh.
But where are you going, Phil?
That bowling alley on Wilshire. Only this time I'm swinging first. Maplewood was a small and dusky combination 6-lane bowling alley restaurant, bar, and magazine stand, and cigar store, all slightly down at the heel and more than hungry for business. Only 2 alleys were in use, and a lanky postgraduate delinquent with a mouthful of gum and a complexion one tone greener than his eyeshade was the only houseman in sight. He looked up and watched me as I moved over to the bulletin board where a bank of photographs were tacked up, picturing the champions of the local league. Sure enough, there in the top row and holding a bowling ball that had more expression than his face was the pile of muscles in a T-shirt, which the caption tagged as one Sid Sawyer. So I walked over to the counter where the houseman sat and made like a one-man fan club.
What's your problem, Mac?
I see Sid's up there with the champs. Is he around tonight?
I wouldn't know.
Where can I get in touch with him?
I wouldn't have the faintest idea, Mac.
He works here, doesn't he?
Yeah, off and on.
But you don't know where he lives or what his phone number is, huh?
Well, you're just beginning to get the idea.
Come here, you.
Cut it out, will you? Take your hands off
You get the idea and get it fast unless you want your teeth crammed down your throat. Where does Sawyer live?
Now, wait a minute, mister. Take it easy. I'll tell you. He's got a room over on Shadow Street, 6340. Upstairs. He don't have no phone.
All right, that's better. Is he there now?
I think so. But, gee, I don't know why everybody is so interested in Sid Sawyer all of a sudden.
Who else is interested?
Some babe called a couple of minutes ago. An old friend, she said. That's the reason I give you the store.
Yeah?
Honest. You see, Sid don't like to be interrupted when he's entertaining old friends.
Is that so? Well, this is one party that's going to get crowded whether he likes it or not. 6340 Shadow Street was a top-heavy stale gingerbread house, left over from the days when Los Angeles was a stopover between Spanish missions. I got out of my car and started across the street toward the door when I saw Tina Millette's cream-colored sedan sticking out through a tangle of overgrown brush in the driveway, which meant I was still in time for the big reunion. So I went inside and up the steps to Sawyer's door. There was a light on and movement, but no voices. I slipped my gun out of its holster, knocked lightly, and stepped back. The knob turned slowly, and the door cracked open. I kicked hard. Yeah, don't move, Muscles. I'm returning your visit. Where's Tina?
Who's Tina?
Look, her car's outside in the driveway. She's here after the letters, isn't she?
What letters? You're nuts. I don't know what you're talking about.
And these suitcases, you wouldn't be skipping town, would you?
Listen, Shamus, you're barking up the wrong tree. I don't know anything, get me?
Yeah? Okay, Sawyer, if you insist, we'll do it the hard way. That squares us for that arm-twisting job you gave me. Now we'll start all over again even. Get up. Come on.
Quit hitting me with that gun.
I don't enjoy doing it, so the faster you talk, the sooner I'll stop. Where's Tina?
I don't know what you do.
Now make it straight. I haven't got all night.
All right. No more.
That's better.
She came and picked up the letters, and she left again. 5 minutes before you got here.
5 minutes, you're lying. Take a look out that window and tell me why your car's still outside.
I don't know what... Where? I don't see it.
In the driveway next door. Holy smoke, it's gone. All right, Sawyer, that means I can spare 30 seconds for the rest of the story, so make it fast. She told you little Eddie Millette is dead. That's why you're blowing town, isn't it?
No. Now, wait a minute, Marlowe. I never killed him. I just knocked him down.
Sure, on a concrete floor with a tire iron.
No, I
Skip
can't...
it. Those letters you got were written by Ruth Dunn. Was Tina heading for Ruth when she left here?
I don't know.
Come on, Sawyer, I'm running out of time. Won't do you any good to try to protect Tina now.
No. We'll see about that, Marlowe.
Why, you... I hope Tina was worth a broken jaw. Good night, Muscles. I took a close look at Sawyer to be sure he was down for the long count. Then I stepped out the door and into a whispering circle of wide-eyed neighbors who had heard the fight and had already called the police. I flashed my identification, issued a battle order to the three huskiest ones, and then ran down the stairs to my car. I made it from Shadow Street to Ruth's bungalow on Normandy in something under 5 minutes, but still not fast enough. Because when I ground to a stop in front of the place, I saw that same cream-colored sedan already there, close to a side door. I belted up the walk and was halfway to the house when I heard it. It made me sick. Went up to a front window where the only light was burning and looked in. The room had been torn up, and in the middle of it all, face down on the tangled carpet, was Tina Millette. And it was Ruth who was slumped in a chair, her face buried in her arms and sobbing hysterically. And still dangling from her hand was Tina's snub-nosed revolver. She looked up as I walked in.
Oh, Phil. I killed her, Phil.
I know. Come on, baby. Take it easy. It's going to be all right.
Oh, she had this gun. She was crazy, Phil. She was going to kill me. I don't know what happened. I struggled with her, and then I realized I had the gun in my hand. I shot her. I didn't even think. I just pulled the trigger on you. She's dead, Phil.
Yeah. Come on, Ruth. Leave it alone. It's over now. Now try to get hold of yourself.
She brought the letters back. They're on the desk. She said that they didn't matter anymore, that she was mixed up in Eddie's murder and there was nothing left for her but to run. She said she took the gun out of her purse and said I'd ruined her whole life and that she was going to be sure I got what was coming to me before she left. That's when it happened, Phil. I was so scared I went out of my head, I guess.
Yeah, we better call Ibarra, honey. I think we can explain it all now, except one thing. Ruth, do you remember that guy Ibarra called us about? The one who was killed in Nevada?
Ellis Clay?
Yeah, that's it. Clay. I've had the feeling all night that some way his death is tied up with all this. It's only a hunch, but something seems to be missing.
What is it, Phil? What's missing?
I don't know yet. Look, honey, I want to take a look at these letters. You go call the police, will you? It was a long shot, but while Ruth went down the hall to phone the police, I flipped through the bundle of envelopes that had caused all the trouble. And the long shot began to pay off. I could hear Ruth talking to a desk sergeant as I picked up Tina's revolver. I broke it open. Then a pair of headlights and a red spot of a police car flashed in the driveway, and I knew that Ibarra had figured out a few things for himself. I put the gun down on the table again, told Ruth to forget her call, and when the lieutenant came in, Ruth and I together explained everything that had happened right up to Tina Millette's body on the floor.
Well, it's quite a mess, isn't it? Anyway, this part of it looks like a clear case of self-defense. Right, Marlowe?
Exactly right, Ibarra. It looks like self-defense, only there's something missing.
Something missing? What do you mean, Marlowe?
At least 3 letters in that packet there. I think they're the last ones you wrote to Eddie, Ruth. They're gone.
Oh, that's strange. I don't understand it.
And another missing item is Lou Tripp, Eddie's partner. He didn't show up tonight because I think he's in Nevada, dead under the name of Clay.
What? Marlowe, you mean that Lou and that Clay were really the same man?
Mm-hmm.
But what are you getting at with all this theory, Marlowe?
You'll see, Ibarra. Lou Tripp was double-crossing Eddie Millette. Lou went to Mexico with Ruth here, only he left early and flew to Nevada to close a big deal under the name of Clay. Meanwhile, some letters were written from Mexico to preserve the illusion that Lou Tripp was still there. Understand what I mean, Ruth?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. And then the unexpected happened. Lou, identified as Clay, died accidentally in Nevada. That meant that sooner or later those letters would be exposed as lies. Right, Ruth?
Marlowe, that gun on the table, watch it.
Too late, Lieutenant. Now, don't move. Either one of you.
You haven't got a chance, baby.
Stay back. Please, Bill, I don't want to kill you, but I will if you come one step closer.
Stay back, Marlowe. She means it.
Look, baby, you licked.
Marlowe?
It was a good try, but you lost.
Stay back.
Why not go out?
Like a lady.
Oh, what difference does it make now?
Well, Marlowe, when she cracked, she really went to pieces and told the whole story.
Yeah?
Yeah, she and Lou Tripp were working together all right. When he died in Nevada, the lie she told in those letters put her in a tight jam with Eddie, see?
So when she found Eddie unconscious in his garage, she finished him. But when she went for the letters, Sid Sawyer scared her off. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Incidentally, the state is going to give Sawyer a long vacation in one of their better institutions.
Good. What happened down at Sawyer's place, Ibarra?
You know, Ruth had a lot of nerve, Marlowe.
Yeah.
She found Tina Millette's car at Sawyer's, so she waited in the back seat until Tina came out with the letters. Then she sapped her, drove the car to her house, and
faked that slick self-defense setup. And she still doesn't know where she made the mistake that caught her. Hey, where was it, Phil?
Well, she was being real cagey, Boris. She decided it was too dangerous to write the name Clay down anyplace, so she made it a name to remember. And she did. But too well.
What do you mean, Phil?
Well, when I asked her for it, the first name Ellis popped out, too. Mm-hmm. There was no legitimate way for her to know that you gave me the full name over the phone, but I only gave her Clay. That was an opening, but I needed proof.
Mm-hmm. So you needled her until she made a break. Then you walked into the gun she'd grabbed. You take some long chances, Phil.
Oh, I'll do anything to see justice prevail, Ibarra.
I smell a rat.
You should. I emptied the gun. When she was phoning.
Good night, Phil.
Good morning, Ibarra. When I left police headquarters and walked to my car, first gray streaks of a new day were breaking in the east. Should have given me a lift, but it didn't. And now it was time for me to go home and go to bed, but instead I sat in my car with the door open and smoked a cigarette while I watched the dawn come up. I couldn't help thinking what an odd trick nature plays on us. Some of her most beautiful creatures are her most deadly. For instance, Ruth. How soft and sweet and lovely she was. And how hard she could swing a tire iron.
The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, created by Raymond Chandler, star Gerald Moore, and are produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. Script is by Mel Donnelly, Robert Mitchell, and Gene Levitt. Featured in the cast were Gene Bates, Paul Frees, Yvonne Patey, Jack Moyles, and Jerry Hausner. Detective Lieutenant Ibarra is played by Jeff Corey. The special music is by Richard Orant. Be sure and be with us again next week when Philip Marlowe says...
It was hot and still, an August night in the middle of April. But that didn't matter to the striptease dancer in the golden mask, because murder made her blood run cold the night the heat wave struck.
There'll be more dramatic excitement of the chase tomorrow on CBS's two Sunday shows, Broadway is My Beat and The Adventures of Sam Spade. Broadway is My Beat brings you The Adventures of Danny Clover, whose beat is the Great White Way and whose cases involve a vast, strange assortment of Broadway characters. Later, Dashiell Hammett's great detective, Sam Spade, cuts another caper surrounded by mystery and mayhem in the grand style. The Adventures of Sam Spade and Broadway is My Beat are regular Sunday features on most of these same CBS stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. Now, stay tuned for Gangbusters, which follows immediately on most of these stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Does not pay.
Sure, fellas, sure. But we still don't get half the dough we oughta for the chances we take.
What do you want, Patsy? A 4-horse Parley that's a sure thing? There ain't no such animal. What do you want to do, beautiful? Knock off Green's jewelry store?
Why not?
Are you nuts, sister? What are you talking about?
A lot of you. Rocky, what you driving me with? I'm not nuts, and I said green.
Now, look, Patsy, the joint's got the burglar alarm strung over every inch. It's wired, it's hot.
Sure. Don't I know it? But why can't we make those things work for us?
In the interest of good citizenship and law enforcement, we present Crime Does Not Pay.
based on the famous Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer series of short subjects. In just a moment, you will hear Burglar Alarm, starring Betty Furness. Now, Crime Does Not Pay, starring Betty Furness as Patsy Rice in Burglar Alarm. There are almost as many names for the kind of district in which Patsy Rice was born as there are cities with slums. And no matter the name, it always looks the same. Dilapidated tenements, littered streets, washed, fluttering futilely, dirty again before it's dry. And the kids, racing in the streets, screaming across the gutters, bursting at the seams of their clothing and the seams of the slums they live in. Patsy Rice was one of those kids. So were Rocky and Roller and Jappy, her immediate pals. They grew up together, learned the same bitter lessons together, beat their heads against the same stone walls together, and were inseparable until Jappy finally had to go away for a while. When Jappy came back, there was a welcome home party of sorts.
Why doesn't he come home, eh? Why doesn't he come? Don't worry, he'll be here. I told him the drinks was free. You know Jappy when the drinks are free.
Drinks? 6 Cokes and 5 bottles of beer.
Oh, what's eating you, Patsy? You like beer? Tomboy grew up, Roller. Like all dames, she wants egg in her beer.
I want a decent drink once in my life. Can you buy it for me, Rocky?
Easy does it, beautiful. Leave it to Rocky. You'll wear mink yet.
When? When my bones are so old and cold, not even mink will keep them warm?
You're a long way from that, Patsy.
Thanks.
You'll see, kid. I'll buy you plenty.
On what? The kind of job sent Jappy up for 90 days and leaves us to give him a party on 6 Cokes and 5 beers?
Quit beefing, will you? He's here. Jappy, you old jailbird. Jappy hates Jappy.
So you're out. How was it, Jappy?
Not good. Very ungood, in fact.
Oh, come on, have a drink, Jappy. Yeah, what'll it be? Coke or beer?
Sit down, Jappy. Take a load off your feet.
Yeah, that I'll do.
This feels okay.
Now, let me look at you, Patsy.
Okay, Jappy.
Why?
I want to look, that's all. A fella can look.
Patsy's my girl.
He wants to look. Because where he's been for 3 months, he felt like he'd never see a girl again. And all the while, nobody talked about anything except a girl.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Now give me a beer.
Yeah, sure, okay. Hey, Jappy, old kid. Must have been pretty rugged, huh? 90 days ain't so much.
When somebody else gets him.
Not so much like 90 months, maybe.
But bad enough.
Plenty. You don't just sit down. You gotta work and plenty.
Laundry or the rock pile?
How come you know so much?
I made it my business to find out.
Yeah? Why?
Because I figure we're in business. And when you're in business, you gotta figure the risks and know the losses as well as the profits. See?
She's right, fellas. The guys who was inside, guys who've been there before. They figure all the time. They don't try no job unless they know the odds pretty close. When I told them what we tried, they said we was jakes. Real jakes.
On account of what we got out of it?
Yeah, that and on account of I got caught. I shouldn't have got caught. We should have figured the cop on the beat. Not just busted into the joint any old time.
You hear that, Rocky? Roller? Jappy didn't have to go up. Not if we figured right. And that's what we got to show for it. What'd that fence give us for the haul? Was it worth the trouble?
Okay, kid, if you're so smart. You got any ideas?
Could be, Rocky. It just could be. Ready to listen instead of yakking your head off for a change?
Looks like we're okay, beautiful.
I'll tell you about that after we get back home with the haul.
You sure keeping the strain loose.
Well, it's like I told him, so there'll be no mistakes.
If there's one job I'm satisfied I'm outside.
Next time, Maybe I'll let Lola stay out with me, and you can go in with Jackie.
We'll try that just once. You're my girl.
Listen. He's checking doors on the booth. Come on now, Rocky Dog. Be patient. And don't forget to pull that string.
I did it already. That's only a couple of doors down the line. Give me a smooch, hon.
Only in the line of duty, lover boy.
Yeah. Sure you didn't dream up this idea just so we could have a little smooching in private.
Private? Here? In the doorway of a fancy dress shop with Roller and Jackie working inside and a cop getting closer every minute?
Yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Nobody else around.
Quick. Now look at her long one. That left door. And beats the string.
Check. A pleasure, beautiful.
I could enjoy this myself.
Yeah, what's all this?
Oh, a policeman.
Sorry, officer.
Sorry, folks. This ain't allowed. What's the matter, kids? Big sister got the living room tonight?
Well, that is yes. And
Well, I'm not the one to be spoiling young love on a summer night, but this is no faithless spooning. Off with you now.
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry, officer.
we didn't mean anything wrong, officer, honestly.
Any place that's dark, I guess. Oh, well. Door's okay. Oh, now. What's this? String through the keyhole? Now, who'd be fishing for what through a keyhole in a place like this?
Neat, I tell you, neat. Only next time, Rocky, don't take the string so hard. You almost took my finger off.
I'm telling you, we had the joint almost clean. The back door was standing wide open. Rocky pulls on a cord through the keyhole. Jackie says the cop is coming. We beat it to the car, then you come strolling around a corner like it was nothing at all. And off we go.
That's how it is when you plan, fellas. That cop is still scratching his head over that string. 5 will get you 10 on that.
We sure dumped the loose in the back quick like it.
Good home. Yeah. What you been doing? Sleeping at the wheel? No. I'm just thinking that maybe I got the best job in the whole setup.
Never mind that, Rocky.
You know, I wouldn't mind that department myself. Not with you, Patsy.
I'll say it, Jackie. You didn't answer Rocky's question yet. Is it a good haul?
Looks okay to me.
A dozen dresses, 3 coats, 2 with fur on them.
Is that all?
Good enough.
Oh, for a first try with the new suits, I'm sure. Ben ought to give us a couple of hundred. Good start. And that bag you lifted yesterday had 100 and a half in it, Patsy. How much you get on that heist job, Steppy?
Only half a fee.
Oh, he's done 400 in a week, Patsy. And then?
Yeah, that's pretty good. We do that every week.
Plus a couple of good bets and a bobtail. We'll be riding in the ships in no time.
Sure, fellas. Sure. But we still don't get half the dough we oughta for the chances we take.
What do you want, Patsy? A 4-horse Farley that's a sure thing?
There ain't no such animal.
What do you want to do, beautiful? Knock off Green's jewelry store?
Why not?
Are you nuts, sister?
What are you talking about?
Shut up, a lot of you. Rocky, what you driving at? I'm not nuts, and I said Green.
Look, Patsy, the joint's got the burglar alarm strung of every inch. It's wired, it's hot.
Sure. Don't I know it? But why can't we make those things work for us? Two blocks, fellas. Got everything straight?
Yeah. Oh, sister, what'll happen to my parole if we're caught on this one?
We're not going to be caught. If you do like you're told.
Listen who's giving orders.
Okay, so I'm giving orders. And since you've been taking them, Roller, you haven't been rolling drunks for your room rent, have you?
Okay, ain't complaining. You don't have to rub it in. Take it easy, kid. I mean you, Patsy.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like it sounded.
Hey, it's awful empty. Streets around here. Traffic here on Sunday morning.
Is that why you picked Sunday, Patsy? No traffic, I mean?
Other reasons, too. Park here, Rocky.
Check.
Green's ain't till the next block.
Want to attract attention driving past on Sunday, Jappy?
Gee, you think of everything, Patsy.
Oh, I try to. Okay. Now, everybody got the orders straight?
You and me, we stroll over to Breen's.
Right. Jappy?
I gotta walk to that cellar door across the street from Green's, open it, go down inside.
So far, so good. Roller?
I drift to the corner. After you and Rocky hit the cellar, I follow you. Pull down the door after me. Stick the wedge in like you showed me so as we can see without anybody seeing us.
Right. Now, let's get started. And don't muff anything, boys. The bundle heavy, Rocky, dear?
Enough. Should have let me wrap it in newspaper.
Oh, that gag's for when you want to bust the window quietly. Today, we want to make as much noise as we can.
Okay, honest, you say so.
I say so. And are we going to make a racket?
You know, sweetie, I started to snatch a few things when we was kids. You were mad at the world. Now I think you'd like to do jobs like that.
And if I do? What did anybody ever do for me? Did we have a chance at a decent job? Could I ever even learn shorthand? Nothing. Look at those sparklers in that window.
Yeah.
They're real. This is a big job, Rocky.
Anybody looking at us would think we was a couple of kids window shopping for a ring, maybe.
Window shopping is right. And you with a rock under your coat. Okay. The coast is clear. Jackie's got that cellar open. Heave it. Now.
Now it's right.
Cross the street, Rocky. Come on.
Watch the cellar. Don't get on the stairs.
Good. You made it. What a beautiful racket. The cops ought to be here.
So good. Is that all? Since when did you guys ever have grandstand seats to watch the cops open up a store full of diamonds so you could take your pick with nobody to bother you?
In just a moment, Crime Does Not Pay will continue with Burglar Alarm. Now we continue with Crime Does Not Pay, starring Betty Furness as Patsy Rice in Burglar Alarm. Patsy and the boys waited in their grandstand seats. The slightly open cellar door gave them a full view and almost full hearing of the events about to transpire across the street, where plate glass lay in shattered fragments on the sidewalk, and the burglar alarm shattered the Sunday quiet with its shrill ringing. Shortly, another sound was added.
Here they come, fellas.
Yeah. Snow White and the two dopes.
Is that the best they could teach you in the workhouse, Jappy? I knew that when I was wearing bloomers.
Okay. I was only kidding.
Hey, look at the cops. Guns and everything.
Maybe they think whoever heaved the rock is sitting inside waiting for us.
With the window in pieces, they tried a door.
Cops always try doors. You know that, Rocky.
Yeah. Don't they, though? Nice fellas. They like young romance.
Hey, what are they doing? Counting the sparklers?
Yeah, something like that. If anything's missing from the window, they can usually tell.
We didn't take nothing.
Yeah, that's part of the idea. Now, look, shut up, all of you. I want to hear what they do next.
Hey, they're coming over here to their car.
Shut up, I said.
Okay.
Dispatcher from car 54. Dispatcher, car 54. This is Morgan, car 54. We responded to the burglar alarm, Green. 8th and Madison Street. Yeah, a window's smashed. Looks like that's all. The showcase wasn't touched. When the rock landed, a few of the things were pushed around. Nothing seems to be missing. They must have been scared off by the bell.
Get off. Get him.
All right. Now, we'll stand by until you can get a crew over to board up the window. Car 54 over and out. Okay, we gotta stick around, Joe, till we get a crew over here.
That's it, fellas. Just like I figured. Now, all we gotta do is sit tight and wait. Easy, I said, Rocky. Now let every cop within a mile down on us.
There ain't no cop in a mile. Who's awake? Come around here after midnight on Sunday.
boy, if this street was dead this morning, what is it tonight?
Perfect for us. Uh-oh. Company's coming. Duck, fellas.
Last board's off, beautiful. Place is wide open.
He's blinking his lights. It's Jackie with the truck. Push me into the window, Rocky.
Check, beautiful. Hey, can't we just clean it out from here?
We got a truck roller. We're not stopping at the window.
Make it fast, huh? We're going to try to clean out the whole joint? Nah, only the valuable stuff. Nothing under 5 carats. Everything's set, fellas. Where's Patrick? Inside, opening the door. He knows where the alarm switch is for that. No bells tonight, boys.
Come on, boys. Coast is clear. Not even a watchman. You bring the boxes, Jackie?
Boxes? What for?
To pack the stuff in. Oh, never mind. Oh, there's a load of stuff here. Looks like a packing room or something. Start grabbing, boys.
Rocky says nothing under 5 carats.
Rocky says. Never mind Rocky's joke. Clean the place. Everything. Understand? Ah, you and your joke. Rocky, you're going to be rich. No more window shopping. We can split the loot with 5 or 6 cents. We'll get plenty.
We'll get plenty if we get ourselves caught.
Not me. They won't get me.
They got Jappy that time.
No plans. Phew. Warm in here.
Look, Jappy's working his shirt.
Oh, that's smart. Anybody passing outside. Jappy, put your jacket on.
Too hot.
Put it on. Your shirt's too flashy. Somebody might see it.
Oh. No, I ripped it. Okay. That better, Patsy? I took the thing off. Ripped anyway.
Better. But don't forget to take it with you when we scram.
I got the pieces in my pocket already.
Good. Now keep going, boys. There's more rocks and junk in this joint than even Mrs. Van Astorbilt would want to wear to the opening of the opera.
Wilson? Is this Lieutenant Wilson?
Yes, this is Wilson.
This is John Breen, Wilson. You better get down to my store.
Look, Mr. Breen, I told you yesterday after your window was smashed.
Wilson, would you please
Rocks
listen?
don't take fingerprints, and the glass was insured.
This is Monday morning, Lieutenant.
So what?
So plenty. I had visitors last night.
What?
You better get down here, Lieutenant. Whoever it was must have brought a truck with them. They cleaned out my entire stock. When you said clean, Mr. Rain, you weren't kidding. It was planned, Lieutenant. It must have been. Somebody even pulled the switch that controls the alarm on the door. And it's a special one. I see. Pried a board loose, ran through the broken window, and then opened the door. And walked out with every diamond in my store. Except those in the safe. Now, we'll get them for you, Mr. Breen. I hope. Hey, Morgan, any sign of print?
No, Lieutenant. Must have worked with gloves.
But there's this. I see. Do you or any of your clerks wear shirts this color, Mr. Breen? My employees and I wear only white shirts, Lieutenant. It's the rule of the store. I see. Interesting. Laundry mark and all. All right, Morgan, start a tracer on this mark, will you? This is your mark, isn't it, Brightman?
Yes, sir, Lieutenant. One of my series.
Whose is it?
Wait, no, I got to think.
Don't you keep a file on these marks?
No, only regular customers. There's no time for once in a while.
Well, anybody who wears green shirts like this one must have been... Well, you ought to remember him.
The shirt, I remember. This fellow, he comes in maybe 2 weeks ago. I remember because all the shirts in the bundle, pink, yellow, blue, green. Always at least one is white, but not this customer. Pink, yellow, blue, green.
What was he wearing?
A suit. What else?
What color shirt?
I think... Yeah, lavender, I think.
Mm-hmm. And the suit?
Like the boys say, sharp, brown, a little yellow stripe.
Kind of stood out in the crowd, that baby.
Yes. Also on account of his face.
Why, scar or something?
No, sir, Lieutenant, but... Well, I noticed... Anybody would notice. The eyes. Very narrow. The hair very black. Almost like Japanese. Except he's not Japanese.
You leave his name and address?
No, sir, Lieutenant. Takes the ticket, comes back to the shape. No name, not that time.
You know him again if you see him?
Yes, sir, Lieutenant.
Good. Get your hat. We're going downtown and look at some pictures.
Give me 2. 2 for you, Rocky. Jappy? I'll stand pat. Pat, huh? What do you got, 4 of a kind or flush?
You'll see. Yep. Think I'll take 3 myself.
Patsy, sit down, will you?
I don't feel like it.
Oh, come on. Get in the game, Patsy.
Not all you can think about, cards and liquor.
Well, I ain't a genius around here, maybe. But I sure ain't nervous like a cat, neither.
That's because you haven't got the brains you were born with.
Is that so? Says you.
Now, take it easy. I'm going to get upset about.
Look, when the fences clam up, there must be something to worry about.
Ah, fences are always jittery.
Or the heat's on.
Now, look, we got to expect it. Green must have had insurance, so they put the insurance sticks on the trail.
What trail? We all wore gloves. Jackie's the only one of us whose prints they got.
I didn't leave no print. I ain't anxious to go back to no tan. The light was too hard. Hey, what about your shirt, Cappy? The one you tore. I burned it. I burned it like she made me. Oh, I sure hated that. It was such a terrific dream.
Are we playing cards or are we playing cards? All right. Put your hands in sight, all of you. Cover them, Morgan.
Cover, Lieutenant. You've got no right breaking in here. Where's your warrant?
Save the lip, lady. You've got a warrant for your friend Jappy. Had it for days.
I ain't done nothing. Honest. Shut up, you.
Well, we've got Jap cold on a laundry mark. Just a piece of green shirt he forgot to pick up at Breen's. But we figured he didn't have the brains to plan this one, so we let him lead us to you.
You can't prove anything on us. All you got is a laundry mark on Jappy, and he's been away before.
You hear that, Jappy? He wants you to take the rap for your pal.
Yeah? If there's a rap, we'll get it together. Jappy, don't be a jerk.
What in your lip, Jappy?
You heard the fellas, Jappy.
Yeah, you heard your pals, Jappy. You're the only one with a record. Second time around for you.
Do I get a break, Lieutenant, if I talk?
Shut up, you two. Stop talking, Jappy boy.
She planned it. She laid out the whole deal. She and Rocky. And a job on that dress shop over on State Street with the string and a keyhole.
Why, you dirty, rotten, sniveling stool figure, let me get my hands on you.
Okay, boys, we've got enough. And we'll have more after Jappy boy goes on with his song in private. Get moving. You two, girlies.
I won't. You'll have to drag me.
Get moving, I said, or I'll give it to you again. And you've no idea how I hate to sock a lady.
Crime does not pay. Betty Furness, who was starred as Patsy Rice in Burglar Alarm, will be back with you in just a moment. Now, here in person is Betty Furness.
Let me say first that ever since the capture of a gang which operated in a manner similar to Patsy's, windows which have to be boarded up are guarded outside of business hours by a specially assigned policeman. However, those policemen are symbols of more than just the vigilance over private property, which is their primary concern. They are symbols of the added cost in taxes and manpower which might be avoided if young people like Patsy found the proper training and right outlets for their abilities. If society's lost in more ways than taxes, when a mind like hers turns sour through no basic fault of its own. Yes, in more ways than one, crime does not pay.
Thank you, Miss Furness. Crime Does Not Pay is written by Ira Marion and directed by Mark D. Lowe, with music composed and conducted by John Garth. Technical advisor is Burton B. Perkins. The events, characters, and names used in the story you've just heard are fictitious. Any similarity is purely coincidental.
And now, Gangbusters! Gangbusters, presented in cooperation with police and federal law enforcement departments throughout the United States. The only national program that brings you authentic police case histories.
Gangbusters presents the case of the Four Feathers, in which fists found a willing mark and a gun made trouble without firing a shot.
Gangbusters has asked the Honorable Lester J. Devine, Chief of Police, Oakland, California, to narrate by proxy tonight's case. Chief Devine.
Thank you, Roger Foster. And good evening, Gangbusters listeners. Suppose we begin our case tonight in the city of Oakland, California, one evening about 2 years ago. In a dingy cafe which advertised itself to be a nightclub, a man and woman sat at a corner table. He was dressed in a loud sport jacket with a wool shirt open at the neck. She had on a black taffeta evening dress. He drank beer. She sipped a Pink Lady.
Least you could do, you come to my place of employment, look like something.
What do you want me to look like?
You could wear a tie at least. What do you think you are, a Turkish bath? This is a nightclub.
Drink your Pink Lady, Lila.
Been so humiliated.
I'm warning you, baby.
Do nothing but brag about you around here, and you come in looking like something they dragged out of the bay.
Baby, I bought you a Pink Lady. Now, you better keep your mouth shut and drink it, or I'll pour it down your throat with my fist along with it.
You wouldn't dare.
Wouldn't I? I'll show you whether I dare or not. Now,
try it and see what it gets you.
Shut up.
Listen,
Shut
you.
up. Reach under the table. I'm handing you a gun. Grab it.
What's the matter?
Grab the heater, will you? A cop that knows me just walked in.
What am I going to do with it?
Do anything with it. Sit on it.
Okay, John, okay.
All right, now make some pretty conversation.
I like Pink Ladies. Don't you like Pink Ladies? I think Pink Ladies are wonderful drinks.
He spotted me, Lila. Here he comes.
They make Pink Ladies with gin and something else. That's what little Pink Ladies are made of.
Hello, Baker. Out for the time? It just got ruined. Like they say, you're only young once. Like who says? Was it Longfellow? No, I don't think so. What do you know that's new, Baker? If I told you, you'd get a promotion.
Well, you'll excuse me.
What's your hurry?
I'm supposed to circulate. I'm not supposed to sit in one place too long.
You're not with him?
No, I go with the joint. Well, thanks for the Pink Lady.
I'll mention it. Cute kid. Yeah. Class. Well, it's a pleasure to run into you, Baker. We've been thinking about you lately. Yeah? Who's we? Lieutenant and myself. Oh, how is the lieutenant? He's better. Mm-hmm. Stand up. Oh, now listen. Come on, stand up. You guys take your work too serious. Sure. Let's see what you got on you. You won't find anything. Okay, let's go. What do you want with me? Look, if you were half as innocent as you act, this would be a much happier world. Now go on. What do you want to take me in for? You know you can't hang a thing on me. You can't hold me. Maybe not. But any inconvenience I can cause you will give me a lot of pleasure. Haven't you guys got enough to do helping school kids across the street?
See you, big boy.
Yeah, Lila, take it easy. Like I said, she's class. One in a million. Straight on through, Baker.
How can he be such a jerk to carry a gun when he don't need it?
All right.
He's a burglar. What does a safe burglar need a gun for? For target practice?
Okay, Icky, forget it.
Forget it. If I packed a gun, Lila, you know what he'd do to me? He'd kick me clean across the bay, call me all kinds of stupid.
If Don wants to carry a gun, Icky, he knows what he's doing. What's there for you to be concerned?
What's there for me to be concerned? I'll tell you what, then. I'd be down there to the police station with him, that's what, then. Carrying a gun like that.
Okay, lay off, will you?
Suppose he wasn't able to dance to the gun when you were sitting in the club, huh? Suppose he was walking on the street when the cop collared him. Where'd he be if it happened like that, huh?
You stop beating your brains out. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, well, now he's a great guy with you, huh? He slaps you around like you was a handball, and now he's a great guy with you.
Yeah, he's a great guy with me. Dickie. They got him down there an awful long time. You don't think they got him made on something. You don't think they're holding him.
This weight can make you hungry. You got something on the icebox for a sandwich, Lila?
No, what do you think this is, a delicatessen? Icky?
What?
You think they got something they can make stick? I'm worried.
Well, how should I know if they got something they can make stick? What am I, a Superior Court judge or something? Why don't you keep some delicacies around here? After all, Lila,
That's John.
Wait a minute.
That's his knock. Let me go.
Oh, we could have told the cops his knock. I'll get behind the door.
Okay, all right.
Ask.
Who is it?
Open the door, will you, Lila?
Well, was beginning to wish they threw away the key.
Hello, baby.
Don't give me no hello baby routine.
Hi, Don.
What are you doing behind the door, playing games?
Well, we didn't know what to expect, Don.
All you had to expect was me.
Don't get so cute just because they let you go.
What happened, Don? You didn't do any talking, did you?
Oh, sure. I had a regular conversation. This Inspector Brown, he took me in, introduced me to the lieutenant. We sat down, had a chat. I told them how I cracked safes. They told me how they passed civil service exams.
Yeah, but you didn't tell them that.
Oh, sure, Ricky. I told them about 22 different safe jobs. They told them how we rip open safes, then write Kilroy was here on the wall.
Oh,
they were so happy to clear the books. That's why they let me go
I
home.
don't see what you're trying to be funny about. It isn't funny to me.
If you'd quit that lousy job of yours, the one that had to visit you there wouldn't have gotten picked up.
Oh, it's my fault. Like carrying the gun. That's my fault, too.
All right, they turned me out. Let's forget it.
What a stupid trick, walking around with a gun in your hip.
We were going to do some work.
Since when do you crack face with a gun?
Oh, yeah, Don. When Lila told me he was picked up, I got in touch with the boys called off the caper.
What'd you want to do that for?
Like a kid playing cowboys and Indians with a gun.
I said forget it.
Forget it? I'll remember it as long as I live.
Hey, come on, let's go down and get a sandwich, huh?
What would have happened if I wasn't in the joint sitting there next to you?
Okay.
If I didn't have sense enough to know what to do.
Will you close that yap, Lila?
No, I can't even talk. Did you ever hear the Declaration of Independence?
Oh, come on, this ain't cutting us off.
Didn't you?
If you don't cut it out, I'll give you a Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, it's just like you, isn't it? A cop does his job and drags you in, so you want to slam me around.
That's a good thought.
Don?
You want some more?
Hey, Don, what are you doing?
You can't hurt me.
No, I'll show you whether I can hurt you. Let me go, Icky.
Mickey, you mind your own business.
Get out of here, Lila. Get out of my sight before I kill you.
How big, don't you?
I'm telling you to get out of here.
Pretty dull around here anyway.
You don't shut up. I'll show you, dull.
Good night, Lila. Tell me something, Don. Do you have to slam her around like that?
I could kill her. She... you figure it out. I can't.
Well, maybe if you didn't get so rough with her. Maybe
well, what are you, Emily Post or somebody?
Okay, but if you treat her different, Don, a little nicer, maybe.
What do you know about it? Come on, let's get going. We wasted enough time already.
Get going where?
We got a safe to get into tonight.
Well, listen, you just been to the police station.
All right, so I'm back. We got work to do.
Oh, for crying out loud. Don, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I told all the boys the caper was off.
We don't need the boys. This is a cracker box.
Well, I'm not going all the way over to San Francisco at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I said we're going to get into that safe.
What about the watchman, huh? We need the boys to take care of the watchman. No, it's nuts.
What's nuts? We've been figuring to go into this safe for a long time. We're going into it tonight.
Lieutenant Wilson.
Hello, Lieutenant. This is Brown.
Yeah, Brownie.
I lost him.
Oh, that's too bad. What happened?
Well, I stayed behind Don after we released him. He went home, and about a half hour later, he left with another guy in a car. They were pretty cautious. Looked to me like they might have been on their way to make a touch. I think they were headed for the Bay Bridge.
Oh?
Yeah. I guess the boys in San Francisco will have another safe job to worry about in the morning.
Hey, you're pretty sure this Don Baker's right for all these Kilroy jobs?
Aren't you?
Yeah. When a safe burglar like him's on the loose and there's nearly 100 jobs between here and Bakersfield in the last year, I suppose it's a pretty good guess. Hey, he's just the kind of a wise guy that would leave that Kilroy was here trademark on these jobs.
Well, guessing won't be much good, Lieutenant. We'll have to catch them in the act.
Yeah. What'd their car look like? I'll phone it over to San Francisco. Maybe they'll have more luck than us.
Oh, this is a beautiful ride. Even at night. This is a natural place to build a bridge. You know that, Don?
Yeah. Because Oakland is on one side and San Francisco is on the other. That didn't have nothing to do with it, Icky. They just put the bridge here because this is the natural place.
Oh, you know what I mean.
You got other things to think about besides the scenery.
Look, don't get sore at me because you don't know how to handle Lila.
I know how to handle her. Every time she gets wise like that, she gets what's coming to her.
So suppose you kill her, huh? You could, you know. There's been cases of guys taking one sock and poof, I go to like.
Keep your nose out of it, will you?
Look, why don't you try taking my advice?
Will you stop annoying me? This caper is on my mind. It should be on yours. Got a big problem handling a watchman with just the two of us.
That's not news to me. We got a big problem. I told you we need the boys.
All right. Now listen. The guy goes across the street to that cafe every couple of hours for coffee.
Yeah.
Now we'll nail him coming out of there. I just got to figure out how. That's all. I got to figure how without him getting in the way. Now let me figure.
Sure, go on. Figure. Not stopping you.
Well, Gangbusters listeners, these two experienced safecrackers, Don Baker and Mark Eikenberry, were on their way to staging their next crime. In the meantime, San Francisco and Oakland police worked hard to make it their last.
And now, Gangbusters!
And once again, we hear from tonight's narrator, Chief of Police Lester J. Devine.
It was just a little later, about 4 o'clock in the morning, that the safecrackers Don Baker and Mark Eikenberry were on a narrow street in the San Francisco waterfront district near the warehouse they intended to enter. For them, the problem of opening the safe was not nearly so great as the disposal of the watchman on all-night duty in the building. So they waited in the shadows of a street light for the watchman, whom they knew came outside for a cup of coffee between his rounds.
He'll come out the freight entrance and walk through the alley.
I suppose he sent you a letter, you would.
All right, Icky, relax.
Relax? How can I relax? We got a tickle here. It'd be a risk for 4 men. We're trying to do it alone. How can I relax?
We'll be okay.
Go ahead, convince me. Yeah, but one question.
Hold it.
Huh?
Here he comes.
You sure?
It's him. I will walk him in the alley and lay one on the back of his head.
Yeah, but what if he...
Quiet. Okay, get him.
All right, boss, that's far enough.
Don't turn around.
Yeah, all right.
Walk back to the alley.
Listen.
Walk.
Yeah.
Head up the alley. And don't look back here. Walk up that loading platform.
Yeah.
When you get to the loading platform, stop.
Don't look around. If we catch you trying to take a look at us, we'll kill you.
Listen, I got no money.
We know you got no money, Pop. We want to give you something.
Yeah.
We want to give you something good. Something real good.
Hey, son, cut it out.
I want to make sure he's asleep.
He's asleep. You don't have to kick him to death. Who do you think he is, Lila?
Look, don't you give me any trouble.
Hey, John. The car's standing up the alley.
Roll him under the platform, quick.
Yes. Go on, partner. Go on.
A little more.
It's heavy.
That's it. Okay, now get low.
It's a proud guy. Shut up.
Ferrero and Army Street made a complainant. 101 at the corner of Ferrero and Army made a complainant in regard to a stolen automobile.
Oh, well, what a way to make a living.
How's the old guy? Out?
Out. He's not only out, he's lucky if he's alive.
How we're going to do it? You got any keys on him?
I don't know. I'll see. Yeah. Got plenty of keys. Yeah.
Okay, I'll get the door open. You go to the car after the tools.
We should have planted the tools here.
Go on.
Yeah, I'm going.
Here's some more. Pop.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm just making sure he don't wake up till we get that box open.
He'll never wake up if you don't stop kicking him.
Get the tools.
Yeah, get the tools.
Yeah, Lieutenant? Brownie, what time did Don Baker get back to his place in Oakland this morning?
A little after 6. He and that other guy, Icky.
Inspector Johnson of San Francisco just called me. They had their safe job early this morning. They knocked a watchman over the head, got into the warehouse, and took $2,200 out of the safe.
Can the watchman identify them?
The watchman's pretty badly beat up. He can't identify anything right now. It's touch and go whether he'll pull out of it.
Well, what do you say? Should I go get these two and bring them in here?
No, not yet, Browning. You have the boys keep an eye on them till we find out how that watchman is. Then we'll see where we go from there.
Nicky, here. What are you crazy, Don?
Sit down, I'll buy you a drink.
I don't want no drink, not here. You have to leave word for me to meet you at the same joint a cop picked you up at last night. Don't you have any consideration for me?
It's as good a place as any.
Well, if you want to see Lila, can't you see her at home? Do you have to come here?
Lila ain't here tonight.
She ain't?
No.
What's the matter with her?
She ain't feeling so good.
Oh, no?
No. She ain't looking so good either, especially around the eyes.
Oh, Don, for crying out loud. Can't you control yourself?
Thought I told you Lila was my problem.
Listen, she's my problem, too. Every time you slug her, she gets sore. Someday she's going to get sore enough to do a lot of talking. What kind of trouble are you looking for?
I don't want to hit her, Ricky. She practically asks for it. I'm telling you, I go there with nothing but peaceful intentions. And as soon as she opens her mouth, she makes me mad enough to kill her. Yeah, most things are bad enough. This one I can't figure for anything.
Okay, you can't figure it, but I can figure it. Don, look, there ain't a woman alive that don't like a guy to be sweet to her. Sweet, that's what she's looking for. Now, be a nice guy. Be considerate. Bring a present.
Don't be a jerk.
I think you're a bigger jerk. Look, she ever gets mad enough and gets a notion in her head, we're dead. There ain't nothing she don't know.
All right. I didn't ask you to talk about Lila. I asked you to tell you to get the boys together for a touch.
Then you'll give it a whirl, be a nice slug, and they'll never get you any place.
Well, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Now, look, can you get the boys together? I want the work done tomorrow night.
What job is this you're talking about?
I want to crack that auto parts joint.
Auto parts? That's right here in Oakland.
What's the matter with that?
Well, did you forget something? Did you forget you was picked up and questioned by Oakland cops just last night?
Look, if I let a little thing like that stop us from working, we'd starve to death.
Yeah, I could see your point. Well, I'll take that drink now, if you don't mind.
Sure, Ricky. Hey, waiter. Hey, how about a little service around here?
Inspector Brown.
Lieutenant Wilson, Browning. San Francisco just called. They showed the pictures of Don Baker and Icky to the watchman.
So?
He couldn't make them.
Do you think the watchman could identify them in person?
No, not a chance. We just have to nail them the hard way, catch them in the act.
Well, that won't be so easy, Lieutenant. They're full of tricks.
Yeah, they don't have a monopoly on tricks. Maybe we'll try a trick or two ourselves.
Come in.
Lila?
Well, come in. The door's not locked.
You want to come in the living room a minute, Lila? I got something for you.
I'm busy. I'm trying to put my hair up. I'm going to work tonight.
Oh, come on. See what it is.
I've got no time.
Okay. I'll bring it in here. Come on.
Don't. Cut it out, will you? Ow.
All right. Don't get excited. Don't you want to see what it is?
Trying to get my hair up.
Okay, I brought it in here. Yeah.
What?
Well, the man said those orchids are flown in special. Best orchids in town.
Who needs orchids?
Okay, sweetheart. You don't want orchids? What do you want? I'll get you whatever you want.
What's come over you all of a sudden?
What do you want? Would you like a new coat? Furs, maybe?
I would like to finish my hair.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Here, Lila, here's some orchids for you. You don't want orchids? Okay, get anything you want. You want furs, Lila?
Well, do you, sweetheart? Name the kind of fur.
Where'd you get that sweetheart routine? I got a name.
I'm sorry about the orchids.
Listen! Don't you run away from me.
Lila.
Honey, this, dearie, that. What's the matter with you anyway?
Well, baby, I suddenly sat down, baby, and I realized how much you mean to me. You mean a lot to me.
So that's it. I mean a lot to you. What's her name?
What's whose name?
You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
If I find out who she is, I'll tear her limb from limb.
There's nobody, baby.
Don't call me baby.
Listen to me, you little...
Well, go ahead. Hit me. Why don't you hit me? Well?
I'll see you later.
Don.
What?
Here. Take her to York.
I told you there's no hurry.
Then where are you going?
We got a job to do tonight.
It's early. You said you were going to pull it late.
We're pulling it early.
Don, I'm warning you. If I get my hands on her, you'll never look at her again.
I told you there's no hurry. We're working tonight. We're taking the auto parts place.
I'll bet.
Well, I swear I'm going to... good night.
Don? Don? You think I care? Do you? Here's a present for you. Orchids.
Get in, Don.
Okay, move.
Well, I'll have to work out with Lila. The presents, I mean.
You mention one word about that, I'll break your back.
What happened?
Less said about it, the better. You got the tools?
Yeah.
Okay. Go after the boys. Use the regular routine. If there's any cops behind us, I want to be sure we shake them. Hello? Can I buy you another one of those pink ladies?
Sure. That's what I'm here for. Sit down.
Thanks. My name is Brown.
I know who you are. He's not here.
Yeah, I know it. I keep pretty good track of him. I want to talk with you.
Go ahead and talk. Talk all you want. Talk is cheap.
Yeah, I know it is. That's why. Hey, that's a nice orchid.
Goes with the dress.
Well, what happened to it?
I don't know. It came like that.
Now, you ought to send it back and get a whole one. That looks like it came off Omaha Beach.
Just like me. We'll do till something better comes along.
Something better for Don?
Who, for instance?
How long you been his girl?
Long enough.
Where'd he go tonight?
How should I know?
I you'd think he'd spend his spare time around here.
Look, if you're fishing for something, mister, I don't bite.
You ought to see her, Lila.
Who?
The redhead.
Oh, you're nuts.
And she's tall, got flaming red hair, like a fire.
Don't kid me. I don't like kidding.
Yeah, she's tall, red-headed, and young.
Who's old?
You can't blame Don. Can't blame any guy like him. They're all living with the first mortgage on their time. They want to get in everything they can before they take the fall they know they got coming someday.
I never heard of no redhead.
Who'd tell you, Don?
You got a lot of nerve, mister, coming around here handing out those lies. Who told you there's a redhead?
I got eyes.
Don and I have been going the same places lately. Him first, me a few steps behind.
Let me alone, will you? I got enough trouble without you coming around here. Is she pretty?
Well, if you want my personal opinion, yeah.
I still think you're fishing.
Okay, I didn't think I was giving you any information. I figured you knew all about her. Hasn't he been a little beside himself lately? I even noticed it, from a distance.
He's been nice to me.
There you are, you see.
Too nice. I figured something like this. Just tonight I figured something like this.
I heard he wasn't so nice to you.
I figured he used to hit me because he loved me.
Doesn't he love you anymore?
Imagine him handing me a story he's going to work tonight. Isn't that great? All the time it's a redhead. Big deal, he said. An auto parts joint on Suffolk with a safe loaded to the gills, he said. Him beating my time with a redhead.
That's a shame.
Big deal he had. All he's got is a redhead.
Come on, Lila.
Come on, where?
Let's go to the station. We can think some more about the redhead while we take a look at that auto parts place.
Now, listen.
Hey, you. Bring this girl's coat. She's leaving.
Lieutenant Wilson.
Brownie, Lieutenant. They just broke into an auto parts place at 8845 Suffolk. They're inside now. You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Where are you?
I'm on my way.
So are we. We'll see you there in 5 minutes. And watch your step. That baker's dangerous. Anything can happen.
And now back to Gangbusters.
Are they in there, Browning?
Yeah, Lieutenant. They went in through the freight entrance, as usual.
Okay, let's just go in the same way. Mackie, stay on the street.
Right, Lieutenant.
You around and back.
Back's covered, Lieutenant.
More won't hurt. Now take it easy, boys. Johnson.
Yeah?
We'll go in first and you back us up, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's get inside.
Watch this guy, Baker. He always carries a gun on jobs.
Okay. Inside.
Hey, there's a light back there, behind the door.
Come on. We can't be all night on this box.
That's him.
Let's get him. Open the door.
All right, get him up. Got the light. Get him up, all of you. Watch him. Shoot, Brownie. Hey, stop. We're through.
Hold it, boys.
That's enough. Don't shoot.
Throw that gun down. All right, all of you, stay where you are. Get your hands in the air. Go on. Watch him, Brownie. Don't worry.
I didn't have no gun. He had the gun. I never carried a gun, not in my life.
Shut up, Big. All right. All of you get over against that wall and sit down. I want to take a good look at all of you. Go on, he said, against the wall.
All right, we're going for it.
Well, Gangbusters listeners, that was the end of this syndicate of dangerous safecrackers. All members of this gang were convicted and given long terms in various California institutions.
Well, thank you, Chief Lester J. Devine of the Oakland, California Police Department for this most amazing case history. And Gangbusters, congratulations to all the Oakland and other California police officers whose hard and brilliant work brought a satisfactory conclusion to a difficult case. Tonight's Gangbusters case was dramatized by Stanley Niss and directed by George Zachary with Mandel Kramer, Elspeth Eric, and Larry Haynes in leading roles. Roger Foster speaking.
Gangbusters is a Phillips H. Lord production.
Proudly we hail From New York City, where the American stage begins, here is another program with a cast of outstanding players. Public service time has been made available by this station for your Army and your Air Force to bring you this story, as proudly we hail the United States Army. Our story is entitled A Night on the Ridge.
The true story of Sergeant Augustine Villarreal and 3 combat infantrymen of the 45th Infantry Division. Our first act curtain will rise in a moment. But first, today you young men of America have an excellent opportunity to learn a trade that will assure your future. The many fine technical schools of the United States Army are training men in such interesting fields as radio, radar, meteorology, mechanics, electronics, and many others. You can become a qualified technician trained to do an important job and do it right. For full details about an exciting career, visit your nearest United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station. There's no obligation, so plan ahead. Face your tomorrow today. And now your Army and your Air Force present the proudly we hail production, A Night on the Ridge.
In the roar of a modern city, in the clash of steel and battle, a small sound is lost. It goes unheard. Yet now, if you please, listen to a certain small sound. Listen carefully. Can you identify it? Listen again. A simple thing. A cartridge for a U.S. Army infantry rifle, model M1, falling on hard, cold ground. Once more now. One night in Korea, the lives of 4 men hung upon that small sound. Their hearing, their instinctive fighting urge to survive, reached into black night for it, strove to separate it from the other small noises of wilderness. For no place, even a battlefield at night when every man holds his breath, no place is ever entirely still. This is the story of a sergeant, 3 combat infantrymen, and that small, significant sound. 45th Infantry Division, U.S. Army, on combat assignment in Korea. At a command post, 3 men huddled in the darkness outside a combat shelter.
Corporal? Yes, sir? Night patrol for you men. Oh, yes, sir. Hill 14 on the map, Wesley. That ridge up on the left, Lieutenant? Yes, Kaminsky, isn't it?
What do we got to do up yonder, Lieutenant?
Look around for that commie machine gun post that's been keeping us off the ridge.
Planes can't spot it, sir?
They conceal it very well in the daytime.
You mean we go up there and leave them shoot at us, Lieutenant?
Just locate it if you can.
Strictly a clay pigeon deal, sir. Yeah, and there's barbed wire up there, too.
Landmines, too. Be very careful.
Lieutenant, this advice we need like we need a hole in the head.
All right, Ed.
Gonna be right cold up yonder, seems like.
It is cold, Barton.
Not real cold, but you're just from Mississippi, ain't got no blood.
Check arms, Wesley. We're all set, sir. Machine guns, knives, grenades, and a walkie-talkie if we get in trouble. Good luck.
Hold it. Man, it's dark. Like in the polo grounds after the Giants lose. Yeah. I mind the time we got caught out coon hunting. In Mississippi? Well, it gets dark even there.
This is right at the bottom of the ridge. Just see the top against the sky.
Yeah. Where's that barbed wire?
Oh, we'll find it. The commie's got a sign on it.
Shut up, you guys. Let's go.
Okay, General. After you.
Stick close together so we don't get lost from each other.
Dark. Stop. Yeah, it is. Barbed wire. Can't hardly see it. Gotta go through it, don't we, Wesley?
Amongst it anyhow. On the belly.
Landmines to remember now.
Ed, you got too big a yap for selling peanuts.
Hot dogs, never peanuts, you flathead.
On the belly. Stick close behind me. Don't catch your pants on.
Why, everybody's loaded with advice we don't need. Okay, on the belly. Hey, Wesley. Yeah, Bart? This way we could crawl right into that machine gun post, you know. Don't worry.
landmine. You all right?
Yeah, I guess so. Wow. Bart. Bart. There's the machine guns.
Along the ridge. Heard the mine. They're looking for us.
Bart! Must have been him. Hit a trap wire and set it off. Lousy commies. Gotta find him. Get him back. Hey, wait a minute. Shut up a second. Hey. I hear breathing like. Yeah, I do. Hey, Bart! Fellas. Dark. Can't see you, Bart. You all right? I'm checking out. Yeah, I reckon I'm all right. Closer that time.
Sure you're all right, Bart?
Well, I don't feel nothing wrong. I reckon I... Hey, Bart! Hurts. I reckon when I set off that mine, I got thrown clear over here. A couple of yards or so from you fellas, sounds like. Furthermore and beside, I'm laying right across the tripwire of another mine.
Don't move, Bart. Don't move.
This is some army for advice a guy don't need. I'm not moving, Wesley. I ain't even gonna have any sudden ideas.
We gotta do something. Bart, I'm coming over and cut the tripwire. Figure you can, Ed?
No, don't.
Oh, what?
Oh, don't come near me. You blow us all up.
He can cut the wire, Bart. Get you out of there.
Listen, I can't even tell which way the wire runs. Maybe the mine's on the far side of me. Maybe between me and you fellas.
Oh. Let's not holler at each other. They'll locate us.
I got a message for you, Wesley.
Yeah?
That machine gun post ain't over the brow like a lieutenant thought. It's on top of the ridge, the far end. They can cover this whole slope. And leave them sprayed long enough, they'll find us.
Hit the mine, maybe set it off. Or another one.
Oh, you think of everything. I'm getting cold. I'm sweating like a fat umpire.
I've never seen no fat umpire.
You're an oyster shucker from Maryland. Where would you see any umpire? Fellas, get an idea, will you?
One of us goes back to get help.
Help? What help? Whoever comes in after us runs into the same wire, the same mines. Besides, it takes too long.
Hey, the walkie-talkie. Must be here someplace.
Now you're talking, Wesley.
Yeah, I found it.
Try to raise up the command post.
Patrol CP. Patrol to CP.
Patrol to CP. Patrol to CP. Nothing yet, Ed. Patrol to CP. Patrol...
CP to patrol. Hear me, Wesley?
Lieutenant, look, we're in trouble, sir.
We heard a landmine go off up there. Was that you?
Barton tripped the landmine, and now he's laying on another one almost. Nobody hurt, but we dasn't move.
Great.
That machine gun post is after us.
Hey, look, Wesley, don't worry. You're safe as long as you don't move, and as long as that machine gun post doesn't find you. I'll send help. Now, keep an ear open. I'll let you know.
Hey, Bart? Yeah?
Remember in training?
What?
We thought it was tough, the infiltration course. Crawling in mud and barbed wire.
Yeah, that's right, we did.
Little did we know.
Had us solved, Ed.
We griped if we didn't get a weekend pass into that little town.
Yeah. Nice little town, now I think about it.
We shut our face off if we got wet or something.
Yeah. Remember Captain Emmett?
Oh, tough guy we thought he was. He was a cream puff compared. You guys.
Huh?
Beating your gums. You thought training is tough because you're cream puffs.
Who's cream puffs?
Ed Kaminsky selling peanuts in the polo grounds. Tough life.
Hot dogs. I told you a million times, hot dogs.
Bard hunting raccoon in Mississippi. You know what's tough? Going out in oyster boats off the eastern shore of Maryland when it's cold and black in the morning. Man, that's tough.
I don't like oysters.
Thought maybe them fellas went home.
Commies never sleep.
Bart, how you doing?
Sleepy. Getting awful sleep.
Hey, no, stay awake. Bart, don't you go to sleep. Might roll over onto that other mine.
5 minutes sleep. That's all I want.
No, don't. What's the lieutenant doing, I wonder?
What can he do?
King Company calling Battalion CP. Somebody there?
Right here, King Company, B Battalion.
Listen, I need help for a patrol. I need an engineer demolition team. Somebody who can handle barbed wire, landmines, and get 3 of my men out. What can you do for us?
Now, let's meet Sergeant Augustine Villarreal, 45th Infantry Division, 27 years old, of Saginaw, Michigan. His trade, demolition engineer, trained to deal with barbed wire that rips the flesh, with booby traps laid for the unwary and unfortunate, with dynamite, and with scientific destruction of men and machines. He's a big, calm man with black hair, a man in whom others see a self-confidence so deep that perhaps he himself is unaware of it.
Hello, Sergeant. The battalion.
Hiya.
Got Colonel's orders for you, Villarreal.
Well, let's hear him, son.
Get a jeep from the pool, go to King Company CP, 2 miles along the east-west road. Know where it is?
I'll find it.
You have to get 3 men out of a barbed wire setup and landmines on Hill 14. Acknowledge, Villarreal.
Sure. So long, son. Up out of that sack, Chuck. Come on, a job. Let's get going, son.
Boy, I'm 10 feet from us. Hey, Bud, you okay?
No. Hurt? You hurt? Bullets as close to me as they was to you. Hey, maybe they hear us talking.
The mine went off. You know we're here someplace.
You keeping awake, Bart? What do you know? I'm still sleeping. Keep awake. Hey, quiet.
CP to patrol. CP to patrol.
Hey.
Yeah. Lieutenant?
Still okay, Wesley?
Yes, sir.
Help's on the way. Demolition team to get you out. Give them an hour.
An hour. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another hour.
You are listening to the proudly we hail production of A Night on the Ridge. We'll return to our story in just a moment. We all share freedom. Help share its defense. The motto is new, but the call it sounds is as old as the history of our country. Today, as we stand strong and alert against communism, the United States Army is calling for qualified young men and women to join the Freedom Team and become Army Technical Specialists. You will be trained in the latest techniques using the finest equipment, and you'll be building a rewarding career for yourself. For full information, visit your nearest United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station. The time is now. You are listening to Proudly We Hail, and now we present the second act of A Night on the Ridge.
What do you figure, Chuck? No more Jeep, Sarge. Maybe here, then. We hike.
Yep.
It's dark. Up and at 'em, son.
We're a little way up the slope, Sarge. Must be up here someplace. Only where?
Let's have the radio. Hey, Patrol. Hear me, fellas?
Patrol? Us?
Yeah, you. I'm Sergeant Villarreal. I got a guy with me.
Here, fella.
I'm not so fast. Where are you exactly?
Halfway along the ridge. Halfway up.
Fine, only that don't help me any, son. It's a big ridge.
Sure is. How you going to find us? Commies can't find us. How are you?
That's a good question, son. Can't show a light, of course.
For the love of Mike, no.
Now, wait a second. Chuck. Rifle cartridge. Give me a cartridge.
Here.
Corporal? Hey, Corporal.
Right here.
Got an idea. Probably lousy. Got a rifle cartridge. I'm going to drop it on the ground.
Yeah?
You hear it drop, you can tell me if we're close to you. I'll cut our radio off so you can't hear it that way. And I'll get you again. I'll close the radio, count to 3, and drop it. Set?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Corporal? Did you hear it, son?
Heard nothing, Sergeant. You're cold.
Listen, we'll move forward till we hit the barbed wire. Every so often I'll check with you. Okay, son?
Swell.
Let's go, Chuck.
The big, calm sergeant and his teammate moved cautiously up the slope at an angle, slowing their pace as they edged toward where they supposed the danger area to be. From time to time, they stopped.
Another cartridge, Chuck. Hear it, son?
You're still cold.
You okay?
Any way you guys can hurry?
We are hurrying, son.
More cautious black yards up the slope. 100. 150.
Another cartridge. We're getting warm?
Still ice cold.
Warm yet?
Nope.
A man can walk a mile in some 15 minutes on the flat in daylight. He can run 100 yards in relatively few seconds, or the length of a football field in only a few more seconds, even through opposing tacklers. But to cross 250 yards of torn and broken ground in pitch darkness, burdened with weapons, uncertain of direction, with at stake not a touchdown, but the lives of 3 men. This is not done so easily or quickly.
Dropping another one, Corporal.
Ready.
Close the radio, Chuck.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Open up.
We heard it. We heard it.
Oh, good. We're getting warm. Chuck, you wait here, outside the barbed wire. I going alone, side? You only got me to worry about. See you later, son.
The walkie-talkie strapped to him, wire clippers in hand, Sergeant Villarreal moves with desperate caution into the barbed wire, stepping over its coils tangled by previous gunfire and slithering under its deadly strain.
Fellas?
That machine gun was close that time, Sarge.
Well, listen. Another cartridge.
We heard it again, Sarge. Warmer this time.
Stand by, son.
You bet.
Hey, Wesley, it's getting nearer, huh?
You heard?
All right, Bud.
Boy, I nearly went to sleep that time.
Hey, fellas.
Right here.
Now, listen now. Well?
Cold again, Sarge. Ice cold.
I guess I went past you. I'll turn back. You okay?
Yeah.
Give me a minute or so.
Hey, I'll tell you fellas something.
Huh?
I figured out. It ain't the cold that's bothering me. I'm just stiff from not moving.
Good, then you can't move. That's fine.
Just hang on, Bart.
More dumb advice you don't need.
I'm hungry. Got some of them peanuts, Ed?
Hot dogs always told you, Wesley.
Corporal.
Yes, Sarge?
Listen.
I heard it.
Sarge, you're warm. Lots warmer.
Stand by.
Yeah. Some guy. You don't even sound like he's in a sweat.
This is like Sal Magley.
Sally who?
Sally who? Magley, Bart. Magley, pitcher for the New York Giants. Ice water in his veins no matter who's up against him.
Yeah, I owned halves in an oyster boat in Maryland last year. Partner's a fella named Charlie Blaine. Same thing. Never got excited.
What are you talking, Corporal? Who gets excited over oysters?
Storms? You get into storms. I've seen Charlie bring us in. I'd be scared blue, and he wouldn't even worry.
I don't mind telling you fellas, I'm scared stiff right now. I mean scared and I mean stiff.
He ain't far away, Bart. Keep awake.
I must be close to the mines. I just cut 3 tripwires.
3? Dumb luck that we missed him on the way up.
Listen now. Another cartridge.
Yeah.
Warm?
Hot. You're getting hot.
Boy, don't lose us now. Advice.
Those jerks. Almost wish they'd come down and fight.
Not me, boy. Shut up and listen.
Fellas.
Yeah?
Cartridge.
Sarge, listen. You're real close. 15, 20 feet, maybe. Hot as blazes.
All right. Hang on. Oh, brother. Seems to me like I kind of heard his voice, too.
You dreaming, Bart?
Maybe.
What's the joke, Ed?
I just remember the dame I used to know.
Oh, a dame.
I took a dancer one time. I took her out dancing to see if she don't dress up.
Ed, shut your trap.
It was funny.
Going off your nut. Tell me tomorrow.
Fellas? Hey, fellas.
Yeah, right here.
I practically heard your voice that time.
You're hot, Sarge.
Now, wait a second.
He's coming.
There could be 80 commies around us waiting to jump on us.
Fellas?
Yeah. Hey, I heard him good. Off here to my right.
I got you spotted. Can't be more than a few feet from you.
Let's get out of here. Don't move.
The guy nearest me. You, the guy laying on a tripwire.
Yeah, it's me. I can almost reach out and touch you.
Don't move. Now, not yet.
Wire clippers in hand, Sergeant Villarreal feels his way forward. Trained fingers lightly scanning the ground for the telltale presence of landmine prick wires.
Hold it. I found this one. Okay, now you can move.
I can't hardly move.
We'll help you, Bart.
Don't you two guys move either. Got to circle each of you for the other mines.
A leg, an arm at a time. Sergeant Villarreal slithers around each man looking for other mines right close to them.
All right, I guess. Let's get this guy up.
Yeah.
I'll lift you, Bart. Give me a hand, Ed.
Yeah, right here.
Sit up first.
Oh, I don't feel hardly nothing.
Rub him up and down. Pound him some.
Good idea. Yeah, I feel a little something.
Closest yet.
They must hear us.
Keep working on him.
Yeah. I need to stretch my legs out. Oh, that hurts.
Right on the way down, you fellas tag right behind me. Nose to tail like elephants. Got it?
I can feel arms and legs now a little.
Bart, you get between me and the indication.
Hold up.
Let's go, son.
4 hours in stony darkness, helpless to move, helpless to fight back. Now came a long crawl down the ridge, and now, too, came a new danger in those moments of relief and escape from the obvious peril. Other mines, a communist patrol outnumbering them, a gashing contact with the barbed wire, a chance probing burst from the irritated machine guns behind them on the ridge. But, at last...
You made it back. That's a relief. For us, too, Lieutenant.
Never expected to put an eye on you again.
You all right, Kaminsky?
Yeah, sure. I lost my cigarette someplace, huh?
Here you are.
Thank you, sir. Brother, that's nice.
One thing we did, sir. We located that machine gun post. Good. You men go back and turn in. Comes daylight, I'll send you further back for a rest. Thanks, sir. Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Good job.
Well, thank you, sir. I'll be going, sir.
Oh, Sarge. Thanks.
Oh, sure.
Lucky you got us out. For us, I mean.
That's not so tough if you know how.
Just the same, Sarge. You knew how. That's the thing.
Hey, Sarge.
Yeah?
You've done all right. You've done okay. Anybody ever tells you you're a bum, I'll tell them what's what. You know what I mean? I'll break their facing. You know what I mean? Sure, soldier. Forget it.
Outside, Sergeant Villarreal and his teammate get into their jeep.
Got a match, Chuck?
Sure.
Time for the sack, huh? Come on, let's go.
To all Americans,
Every other American is a sacred life not likely to be lost, dearly and desperately to be protected. Proudly we hail Sergeant Augustine Villarreal of Saginaw, Michigan, demolition engineer of the 45th Infantry Division and rescuer of the men on the ridge. Proudly we hail their courage and his. No nation so served can ever fail to win.
Those who enjoy freedom must help support it. And in these uncertain times, we must remain strong and alert to the dangers that surround us. If you are qualified, you can join Freedom's team by becoming a member of your United States Army. There is an urgent need for technical specialists in every field. You will receive the world's finest training and at the same time build an interesting and rewarding career. Visit your nearest United States Army and United States Air Force recruiting station for full information. This has been another program on Proudly We Hail, presented transcribed in cooperation with this station. Proudly We Hail is produced by the Recruiting Publicity Center for the United States Army and United States Air Force Recruiting Service. This is Kenneth Banghart speaking and inviting you to tune in the same station next week for another interesting story on Proudly We Hail.
This is Elliot Reed, and welcome once again to more New Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, starring Tom Conway and Nigel Bruce. Today, radio is comprised of news, lots of talk, and music. But there was a time when radio was so much more. As a mass medium of entertainment, one could turn the radio on and tune into different programs during the week that would present comedy, drama, and variety, and all of it free, just as network television does today. Radio goes back to the 1910s, when there were experiments in broadcasting. However, it wasn't until the 1920s that radio, as a viable medium for entertainment, took form. By then, broadcasting was nearly perfected, and David Sarnoff, head of the RCA company, decided to establish a linked network of radio stations that would bring entertainment into as many homes as possible. Thus, NBC was formed. A few years later, William Paley established the CBS radio network. As each year went by, radio transmitters and receivers were fine-tuned until the day one merely had to turn a switch, wait until the tubes warmed up. There were no transistors or IC chips for instant turn-on as we have today, and suddenly one's living room was flooded with entertainment. Many a child would be safely tucked into bed, a radio beside them on a night table, and it was that radio that took them into slumberland. Instead of a parent sitting on the side of the bed reading a story until their child drifted off, it was the radio that lulled the child into a gentle night of dreams. Writers, directors, producers, and actors all joined forces to bring the best talent to the airwaves. And behind them were the engineers who set the transmission volume and ensured that each and every broadcast would be beamed into the ether to be picked up by every radio across America. And just as people switched to various television stations today, so it was with radio. As the radio dial was turned from station to station, different shows reached the ears until that one show so eagerly waited for was found. During that golden age, there were 4 major networks that spanned America: NBC, CBS, ABC, and the Mutual Broadcasting System. There were also individual networks, such as the Don Lee Network, which linked Northern and Southern California. Add to that hundreds of local stations all across America presenting their own broadcasts. It was endless, and it gave the listener a chance to pick and choose his favorite shows. In truth, there was far more programming to choose from then than there is today, even with cable and satellite transmissions. And now, let's turn our dial to the ABC network and listen to Tom Conway and Nigel Bruce in The Adventure of Black Angus.
Kreml Hair Tonic and Kreml Shampoo present the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes, starring Nigel Bruce as Dr. Watson and Tom Conway as Sherlock Holmes. Well, once again, it's time to keep our weekly date with the Dean of Storytellers, Dr. Watson. I'm sure he's expecting it.
I am indeed, Mr. Bell. Good evening. You're punctual to the minute, as usual.
This is one doctor's appointment I'll never be late for.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say so, my boy. Draw up your usual chair and settle down. That's it.
Fire in the grate, the lights turned low, and a wind howling outside. It's a perfect setting for a Sherlock Holmes adventure. Which one is it going to be?
Well, tonight I thought I'd tell you a most weird and macabre story. It concerns werewolves on the wild moors of Scotland and the strange happenings that took place in McKinnon Castle.
Dear, dear, werewolves and haunted castles. My hair's beginning to stand on. Please get on with the story, Dr.
In
Watson.
due time, Mr. Bell, but first, haven't you a little business with our listeners? Business that also has to do with hair?
Business? Oh, no, Dr. Watson. This isn't business. It's a pleasure. But thanks for the reminder. And I know you men will thank me again and again for this hot tip. Try Kreml Hair Tonic. Just notice how Kreml makes stubborn hair so much easier to comb. How your hair falls in place just where you want it and stays that way all day long. Now, be honest, men. Did your hair ever look better? You see, Kreml gives even dull, lifeless-looking hair a rich, attractive luster. It makes hair look so handsome and alive. Yet Kreml never glues hair down. It never leaves it looking or feeling greasy or dirty. Just try Kreml Hair Tonic once, and you readily see why it's such a nationwide favorite. Now, Dr. Watson, how about the werewolf?
Well, Mr. Bell, the adventure began innocently enough on a slate-gray November afternoon in Baker Street, just before the turn of the century. Holmes and I were seated comfortably on either side of a crackling fire when shortly before tea time there was a jangle on our doorbell, and a few minutes later a young girl, who Mrs. Hudson announced as Miss Victor, was standing before us. A young girl dressed in a wedding gown. She was in a great state of excitement, in fact, almost hysterical.
Mr. Holmes, you must help me. There's no one else to whom I can turn. I don't know what to do.
There, my dear. Compose yourself.
If you will just tell us the facts, Miss Victor.
Well, at 3 o'clock this afternoon, I was to have been married to David McKinnon,
Any relation to the heir to McKinnon's?
the son and heir to the estate, Mr. Holmes.
Oh, really? I think I met one of the family in a shooting party a few years ago. I remember distinctly.
Some other time, Watson, please. Miss Victor's problem is immediate.
Oh, sorry.
You say you were to have been married, Miss Victor. What occurred to prevent the ceremony?
David just didn't appear. Oh, it was dreadful, Mr. Holmes. I waited and waited, and finally I knew he wasn't coming.
You've had no word from him since?
No, none. I went to his hotel as soon as I left the church.
And what did you discover?
That he'd received a visit from an elderly Scotsman this morning. And the porter
said that immediately afterward they left together in a cab for St. Pancras Station.
St. Pancras? Undoubtedly their destination was Scotland, Holmes.
Quite.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, you must find David for me. I know he's been kidnapped.
Miss Victor, a man who is being kidnapped does not walk out of a hotel in broad daylight and order a cab.
Well, something's happened to him. He wouldn't do a thing like this of his own volition.
Are you quite sure that you didn't have some lover's quarrel, some little tiff in the last few days that might have made your fiancé change his mind?
Of course I'm sure, Dr. Watson. We've never had any misunderstanding. Only something dreadful could have made him leave.
I shall do everything in my power to find out what it was, Miss Victor.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Oh, Watson, get me the railway guide.
Oh, there you are. It's on the table beside you.
I knew you'd help me.
I hope you'll be successful. Now, Watson, if you'll pack a couple of bags and meet me at the station at 9:15 in time for the Scottish Express, I have a few simple inquiries to make.
What kept you so long, Holmes? We almost missed the train.
You're shockingly out of condition, Watson.
Well,
A little sprint like that shouldn't leave you so winded.
oh, never mind about my condition. Where have you been for the last 4 hours?
Delving into the back issue files of the Times. Very instructive. You should try it sometime.
Rubbish. There's nothing duller than yesterday's news.
I doubt it would call the legend of the McKinnon family dull, Watson. On the contrary.
Oh, so that's what you've been looking up.
Yes. It's a history that goes back several hundred years of brawling and bloodshed. The founder of the clan was a 14th century Scottish warrior by the name of Wolfhound McKinnon. He's reputed to have been so incredibly vicious in battle that his enemies accused him of being a werewolf.
A vampire? Oh, come now, Holmes.
Merely repeating a 500-year-old legend. The point is that the present head of the clan, the father of the disappearing fiancé today, is known as Black Angus. He's a dominant, thoroughly hated man whose local reputation is as frightening in our day and age as his predecessors was 5 centuries
That's
ago.
all very interesting, Holmes, but I don't see why you should get so excited over a 500-year-old legend.
Well, you see, Watson, I found another rather curious fact in the paper.
Oh? What was that?
Several times during the last few months, sheepdogs have been found dead in the vicinity of McKinnon Castle with their throats torn out.
Good heavens.
Thomas, you've lived in this village a good many years, I expect.
All my life, sir. And this inn was my father's before me.
We're interested in some of the local beauty spots, particularly McKinnon Castle.
McKinnon Castle is no beauty spot, sir.
Oh, really?
Devil's Castle, we call it. There isn't one of us in the village that wouldn't have been glad to see the ground open up and swallow the place. Aye, and every McKinnon who lives there.
Gracious me.
Why are the McKinnons so hated, Thomas?
They're no men. They're monsters. And McKinnon thinks that because he owns the land, he owns the air among breeds, too. And Black Angus is the biggest, blackest devil of them all.
Black Angus? You mean the present laird?
Aye. And if he keeps up with his devil's work, he'll be the dead laird before long.
Dear me, how bloodthirsty.
What's been going on, Thomas?
It's the sheepdogs, sir. Hereabouts, a man's sheepdog is his living. And yet 6 more have been killed in the past 2 weeks. And all of the poor wee beasties lying there on the moors with their throats torn out.
How can you blame McKinnon for that? Surely some animal...
Aye, sir, aye. An animal that stands on 2 feet.
What are you suggesting, Thomas?
I'm suggesting nothing, sir. Except those dead dogs all had human teeth marks on their throats.
Are you insinuating that Black Angus is a vampire? Oh, no. Really, my dear fellow.
We've seen him at night, when the moon was high, galloping across the moors on his big black horse. And the next morning, there's always been a dead sheepdog.
You've seen him yourself?
Well, no, sir. But there are those that have. There's no mistaking him with his big coat flapping and his hat pulled down over his eyes.
What an extraordinary business.
Interesting, very interesting.
Do you see that gentleman that just came in, sitting by himself in the corner there, sir?
The man in the grey overcoat?
Aye. His name's Humphreys. He can tell you more about the McKinnons than I can. He's a cousin of the family. And even though he's related and lives at the castle, he's as nice a gentleman as you'd meet up with.
Thank you for the information, Thomas. I think perhaps we'll go and have a chat with him. Come on, Watson.
Right, Tom. Oh, thank you, Thomas. Thank you.
Glad to be of service, gentlemen.
Excuse me. Mr. Humphreys?
Aye?
May we take the liberty of introducing ourselves? I'm Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend, Dr. Watson.
How do you do, Mr. Humphreys?
How do you do? Oh, won't you sit down?
Thank you. Thomas tells me you are a cousin of the McKinnon family.
I am. Do you know them?
We're particularly interested in one of them, Mr. Humphreys.
Yes, in David McKinnon.
David's a very fine boy.
You knew he was to have been married in London yesterday?
Aye, I knew that.
Did you also know that just before his wedding he suddenly disappeared, Mr. Humphreys?
Gentlemen, may I ask the reason for your interest in young David?
That's a very fair question, sir. I have been asked by Miss Victor, David's fiancée, to try and find the young man.
Oh, I see. It's a very unfortunate business.
Mr. Humphreys, shortly before the wedding yesterday, David McKinnon had a visitor in his hotel. They left together, presumably to catch the express for Scotland.
And poor Miss Victor was left stranded at the church. The little thing was heartbroken.
She would be. Mr. Holmes, I wish I could help you in some way, but...
You can, Mr. Humphreys.
Well, how?
By telling us what message you delivered to David at his hotel yesterday.
But I...
Oh, come now, Mr. Humphreys. The man seen to be leaving the hotel with David was wearing a grey raglan coat, such as you are wearing. In addition, I observed as we sat down that you're reading yesterday's edition of the London Times. Even if you subscribed to it, it couldn't have reached you here in Scotland through the post this speedily.
Amazing, Holmes.
Elementary, isn't it, Mr. Humphreys?
Well, I don't know about that, but your deduction is correct. Yes, Mr. Holmes, I did return with David from London yesterday.
What was the message you were sent to give him, may I ask? The message that decided him not to go through with his marriage?
I'm afraid I can't answer that question, Mr. Holmes. Though I may tell you it's a family secret of the gravest importance.
Well, in that case, our only recourse is to go to McKinnon Castle and pursue our inquiries there.
Yeah, I imagine that would be best, gentlemen, but frankly, I doubt if you'll gain admittance. Angus is a willful man with a terrible temper, and when he knows you want to see David...
We've handled terrible men before, haven't we, Watson?
Yes, indeed. I remember that afternoon in Baker Street when Dr. Grimsby Rourke picked up the poker and was
Yes,
about
Watson. You can regale Mr. Humphreys with that some other time. But now I think we'd best be starting for the castle.
Mr. Holmes, if by any chance you do see Angus, I must ask you not to mention that you've talked to me. If he finds out, there might be trouble.
All right, Mr. Humphreys. Come along, Watson.
I wish they'd put some springs in this vehicle. It's worse than an Irish jointing car.
If Thomas's directions are to be believed, we should see the castle when we get to the crest of this hill.
This Black Angus seems to be quite a lovable character. Even Humphreys, his cousin, seems to be terrified of him. The man was positively shaking.
Yes, I noticed that. That must be the castle now.
Aye, George. Forbidding-looking place, isn't it?
Yes. Watson, rein in your horse.
We're back. What is it, Holmes?
Look, lying by the side of the road.
It's just a dead dog.
Yes, a dead sheepdog. Come on.
The dog's throat has been torn out.
Yes. And look here, Watson. Look at these marks on the throat.
Good heavens, Holmes. They look like they are the marks of human teeth.
Aye, gentlemen.
Is the lad at home?
I'm sorry, sir. But the lad will not see people we were to the appointment.
Then will you please give him a message?
But the tool...
Tell him that Mr. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson have come here from London to see him.
Yes, my good man, and tell him it's on a very important and confidential business.
If you'll wait here in the hall, I'll give him the message, gentlemen. But he'll no see you. He'll no
see. Stupid old lass. Anyone think he owned the castle?
Watson, have a look at these two portraits.
A couple of grim-looking characters. Give you the creeps.
I think we may reasonably assume they're McKinnon ancestors. Do you notice something odd about them?
Well, both of the men are smiling. If you can call that smiling, it looks more like leering to me.
Whatever it is, it shows their teeth. Notice the abnormal length of the eye teeth?
Quite curious. The teeth marks on the dead sheepdog.
Quite.
Who he is? Sherlock Holmes, and I won't see him. He is won't these people, they throw them out.
Black Angus seems to be living up to his name.
I'm sorry, gentlemen, but the laird will not see you. He asks that you please leave at once.
A bit of an understatement.
You may tell him we're not leaving here until we've seen Mr. David McKinnon.
I'm sorry, sir.
Just a moment. I'm David McKinnon.
You are splendid. We've come here on behalf of...
I know why you're here, gentlemen. I must ask that you leave at once.
But Miss Victor, your fiancée...
After all, you know,
Gentlemen, you heard my father's message. Please go. As for Miss Victor, I have no interest in hearing anything concerning her. Good day.
Come, Watson. I think perhaps our visit was ill-timed.
This way, please, gentlemen.
Let's get away from here. Unprincipled young cad, that David. I'd like to give him a good thrashing.
Might be interesting to talk to David McKinnon when he's away from the influence of Black Angus.
Oh, you're wasting your time, Holmes. The man's a bounder. Besides, they'll never let us in the house again.
By the front door, true. However, we can still try the back. Leave your hat and coat in the bushes here, old chap. Rumple up your hair, dirty your face, and adopt that delightful Scottish dialect of yours. For the moment, we will be plumbers.
Plumbers? How do we know they need plumbers?
In an old castle like this, you can always be sure of one fact. Something must inevitably be wrong with the drains. They always need plumbers.
Holmes, do you think it's safe? I mean, if Black Angus discovers us, he may be dangerous.
I'm afraid that's a chance we'll have to take. Come along, Watson, and try to look as much like a plumber as possible.
In just a moment, Dr. Watson will continue the story of Black Angus. But first, here's something which should certainly interest you men about Kreml Hair Tonic. Kreml is one of the greatest improvements ever made in the history of hair tonics. It's been especially developed to keep dry, unruly hair in perfect order all day long, always looking its best with a nice, rich luster. Yet Kreml never gives hair that objectionable, greasy, patent leather look. That kind of hair went out of style with handlebar mustaches. No, Kreml goes in for modern, handsome hair grooming. And it does lots more than just keep hair looking handsome. Kreml removes dandruff flakes. It also promptly relieves itching of dry scalp and leaves the scalp feeling so clean and alive. May I suggest that tomorrow, when you're out for your Sunday walk or drive, you stop and buy a bottle of Kreml at any drug counter. It's spelled Kreml. Kreml Hair Tonic. Now, Dr. Watson, did you and Sherlock Holmes manage to get into McKinnon Castle disguised as plumbers?
We did, Mr. Bell. Holmes is right about the drains. We were welcomed at the service entrance with open arms, figuratively speaking. Of course, we were shown down to the basement and left to our own devices. As soon as the coast was cleared, I found myself following Sherlock Holmes as he stealthily mounted an old stone stairway. I must confess that my heart was in my mouth.
This stairway should lead us up to the east wing, I'd say. By the way, Watson, you make a most convincing plumber.
Oh, really? Oh, it's not all good at charade, you know.
Quiet, Watson.
The light under that door.
The door's slightly ajar. Come here, Watson. We can see through the crack.
There's a man seated in front of the dressing table, staring into the mirror.
Candlelight's flickering, but I'll give you odds that's Black Angus.
It's like this, Holmes. I don't like it. Holmes, he's got a revolver. He's raising it.
Angus McKinnon, put down that revolver.
Who the devil are you?
My name is Sherlock Holmes.
I told Bruce to throw you out. This time I'll do it myself, you prying...
Mr. McKinnon, I know what you were thinking when you raised that revolver to your temple just now. And believe me, you're wrong.
You can't possibly know.
I think I do. You are convinced that you have been killing these sheepdogs. You have been so preoccupied with the legends of your great ancestor, Wolfhound McKinnon, that you think that your brain has snapped and that you've turned into a vampire.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. But how you found out is beyond me. You know about the dogs?
The sheepdogs with their throats torn out?
Yes, we know about them.
In fact, we found one as we were driving out about a mile from here.
I know. They brought me the news not more than 2 hours ago. It won't happen again.
You're convinced that you are responsible for these killings?
What else can I think? All the evidence, the blood stains on my cloak. And I know those stains are not caused by human blood.
You remember nothing?
Nothing. But when I think of the heritage of the McKinnons, how can I doubt?
Then that's the reason your son was recalled from London yesterday.
It is.
You suddenly had proof of what you thought to be your own morbid tendencies. And so you sent a message to your only son, warning him that he must not allow the woman he loved to marry into a family stained with madness.
Holmes, you seem to understand my problem. But I will not discuss it with you. Go away, both of you. A McKinnon cannot go to his maker before strangers.
Mr. McKinnon, give me your help in a few hours' grace, and I'm convinced I can prove to you that you're the victim of a devilish plot.
A plot? I don't understand.
Oh, come now, Mr. McKinnon. In this year of grace, it's a little hard to believe in vampires.
But how can you disprove the evidence I've seen with my own eyes? The human teeth marks.
Would it be hard to conceive of an instrument that could simulate those marks, Mr. McKinnon?
But who could think of such a fiendish plan? And what would be the motive?
I have a suspicion. But what's more important at the immediate moment is to find the evidence. An instrument such as I've suggested would be damning proof. Therefore, it would be hidden in the most obscure hiding place in the castle. Now, what would be the most secret place?
The cellars?
Aye, we have extensive cellars.
We'll search them. But another possibility occurs to me. In castles as old as this, there's often a secret room, or as they were sometimes called, a priest's hole.
You're quite right, Mr. Holmes. We have such a hiding place here, though I haven't been in it for years. A narrow stairway leads down between the walls from an entrance behind that big cabinet.
Splendid, Mr. McKinnon. You have a lantern?
There, on the dressing table.
I like it, Holmes.
Thank you, Watson. I have a strong suspicion that the solution of the postponed wedding ceremony, as well as that of the mangled dogs, lies at the foot of that secret stairway.
Stuffy little place. Festooned with cobwebs. Oh, dear. Just walked into another one. Nobody's been down here recently, Holmes. I'd swear to that.
Give me the lantern, Watson, will you?
There you are, fella.
Thanks. Uh-huh. Look here in the dust on the floor. Footprints.
Footprints leading to that old chest in the corner over there.
Yes. Doesn't seem to be locked. Look, Mr. McKinnon. See this devil's instrument?
What is it? It looks like a metal trap.
It is, with jaws of steel and a powerful spring.
Oh, good heavens.
And you can see the recent bloodstains on it. This fiendish instrument gives us the answer to those poor dead dogs.
You mean that this was used to tear out their throats?
Undoubtedly. And look, more devil's work.
Great Scott, a human jawbone with the teeth intact.
This must have been used to leave the prints of human teeth after the animals were dead.
And to try and make me think that I was mad. The devils.
Somebody shot the lantern out of my hand.
You're too inquisitive, Sherlock Holmes.
Humphrey.
Yes, Angus, your cousin, Humphrey.
We've found out, Humphrey.
I know what you and your meddling friends have found out, Angus. Thoughtful of you to put yourselves in my power. A priest dungeon will make a perfect coffin for the three of you. I'm going to lock and bolt this door at the head of the stairs. It's your only escape. I'm afraid death by suffocation and starvation won't be very pleasant, my friend.
Humphreys, I'm coming back up those stairs. And when I get my hands on you...
Your step, Angus, and I fire.
You devil, Humphreys!
I warned you.
Stop! Oh!
Watson, where are you?
I'm here by the Perkins.
How is he?
I'm all right, Holmes. I think the shot just grazed me.
I'll strike a match. Yes. Just a flesh wound as far as I can see.
Good. McKinnon, is there another exit from this room?
There is, Mr. Holmes. Under that chest. The stone slides out.
Gracious me, Mr. Humphreys said.
Humphreys knows nothing about it. Some secrets of the McKinnon family are only entrusted to those bearing the family name.
Thank heaven for that. And I'd suggest we get out of here as soon as possible. The air in here is getting stale already. Lean on me, Mr. McKinnon. That's it. How are you feeling?
A little shaky, but I'm all right, Mr. Holmes.
Where in blazes are we? We've been following this little passage up and down, round and round.
Right now we're behind the wall of the library. The entrance is ahead of us, concealed by a tapestry.
There's a faint crack of light.
We're behind the tapestry.
Someone's in the library.
Boy, I don't know how to say this.
It's Humphreys.
And my son David.
I was worried about those men from London. If Sherlock Holmes should learn of the shame of the
David,
McKinney.
I'm afraid I've got shocking news for you. Your father has confessed that he has been killing the sheepdog.
Father?
He knows that he's mad. He left the castle just now with a pistol. He plans to kill himself.
Kill himself? We must stop him.
No, my boy. Let him go. It's the best way.
Poor father. What can I do?
There's only one honorable solution, David. Your branch of the family is corrupt, decayed. If your father dies and you disappear, the estate reverts to me, and we can save the McKinnon name with fresh blood.
But, Uncle...
You can go to the colonies and start life over with a new name. It's the only way.
We've heard enough. Come on.
Humphreys, you lying devil.
Father, they said that...
Drop that revolver, Humphrey. Drop it or I'll shoot.
We overheard your conversation, Mr. Humphreys. Most enlightening.
And we found this where you headed, you filthy beast. A human jawbone. You'd knocked the dogs with it and tried to make me think that I'd done it to son.
Then what he told me in London was nothing but a pack of lies.
Of course. Mr. McKinnon, I suggest you send for the police.
The police? What crime can they hold me for? A few sheepdogs killed, and they can't prove I was responsible.
There's a mob of people outside the window.
Mr. McKinnon, sir.
Excuse me.
What is it, Bruce?
It's a crowd of the villagers. They're in an ugly mood. They say you're responsible for the sheepdogs being killed on the moors. They're threatening to burn the castle. I'm afraid they're getting out of hand.
Go back and tell them that in a few minutes I'll come out and explain the killing.
Aye, sir, aye. But didn't wait too long.
I'll go and talk to them, Father. They know me.
Mr. Humphreys, possibly the law can do little to you, but the violence of mob rule may prove strikingly effective.
Aye, I'll take this blackguard Humphreys out there. They'll know what to do with him.
No, you can't do that. You've got to keep me away from there to tear me to pieces.
Sign a written confession, Mr. Humphreys, and we'll protect you.
I'll sign anything. Just keep me away from that mob.
You suggested that my boy should go to the colonies. Put it in writing that you'll do just that yourself.
Give me a pen.
Here you are. And now, Watson, I think we still have time to catch the night express for London. I hope we'll have no difficulty in obtaining 3 tickets on such short notice.
3 tickets?
Of course. I'm certain young David McKinnon will be accompanying us. I fancy we may be attending a wedding within a very few days.
And did you, Dr. Watson?
Did I what? It was a very charming affair.
I'm sure it was. And now, Dr. Watson, what about next week?
Well, now, let me see. What shall I tell you? Next week, I think I'll tell you a story called The Adventure of the Hungry Cat, in which Sherlock Holmes saves an innocent man from the gallows and brings to justice a particularly vicious